Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Friday Eve. What's up, everybody? Welcome on in. Sports Day, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Thursday, September 15th, about halfway through the month of September, which is crazy. We are gearing up for Monday night. Eagles, Vikings, Lincoln Financial Field. What's up, compadres? Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. I'm Rob Ellis. What's up?
What up? What up? What
Gunner
up?
has a perplexed look on his face. What's the issue?
We're halfway through September, which
Oh,
means
that's what it
October is approaching rapidly. And
That's what it is.
the
Okay.
weather's starting to change. I'm not happy. I only fished 4 times this summer. Fall is upon us. Weather's cold. Old man winter's creeping around the corner. But I'm in a good mood today. I'm happy.
I noticed today, or
What?
yesterday. What was day? Was it? It was Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
I went out after we did the show and everything. I cut the lawn, right? Cut the lawn. I'm going around, I'm seeing all these leaves. I'm like, we're here now. We're in leaf.
See?
We're in leaf territory now. No, thank you.
Man.
You need to get a leaf blower, dude. You got.
I have one. I do. I cut the lawn and mulch it in, as
No,
to
it's
not
a-
have to blow them more.
I do too.
You're
gather
supposed to
leaves.
do that anyways because it
Yeah.
gives nutrients to your grass
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And I have spots that need it, man. I have
Yeah.
like these brown bald spot, not bald, but brown spots, because of the lack of rain that we had for a long stretch.
Well,
man.
not only that, you could have grub worms eating the roots from your grass also.
Okay.
Now, in my case with 3 dogs, I get brown spots because dogs are, go to the bathroom the same dang
Same.
spot.
Yeah,
And
there
I
was
like
some
to stand
business
there
being
like-
done on the lawn. I know.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And then they all, when one pees, they all pee on top of the other one because they want to assert their dominance. I'm like,
Right.
you
right.
3 ain't paying no rent here.
That's all you got 3 boys?
No, 2 boys and a girl.
I got 1 boy and 2 girls. But the boy is just nuts, man. I mean, I should have got him fixed a long time ago.
Ooh,
Why
what
did you
I
not
figured.
get them fixed?
Whoa.
I don't know, man. I don't.
You're
know,
asking
man.
for trouble there.
Yeah,
man.
what
Right.
are you thinking, dude?
So he's getting fixed on October 4th.
Oh boy, you're gonna
He's
have the
7
cone.
years old.
The
October
cone.
4th.
Oh,
Yep.
boy.
So he's getting fixed then.
Oh,
Because I'm tired of breaking out my fence. He busts out my fence all the time. The white fence, he busts out of it
Yeah,
all
he's
the
horny,
time.
man. He's
Exactly.
looking to get some friends.
what kind of dog is this? A Great Dane?
No, it's a he's a pit. So
Yeah.
he
My
looks.
man's looking for some love.
He proud.
Right.
He on the proud.
he just don't stop. He's an escape artist too, man. And he looks like he's so vicious.
Yeah,
And he's a
he's a
punk.
teddy bear.
Yeah, he's a punk. But I mean, only
Oh, he's
if
a-
like
he's
if you
a-
mess with
he's
any of the girls in the house,
Yeah.
Oh, it's on.
he turns into Superman. Me,
Oh, yeah.
you can whoop my ass, and he don't care. He does not care.
So
whatsoever.
basically, Barrett, he's a midnight lover.
Right. He's a bandit, man.
That's funny.
He's trying to go get it, man. So
Yeah.
I mean, he went so far as like when we put him in a cage, he's bit the cage and opened the cage up like like literally bent.
He's like Superman.
Yes, to get out to a woman.
Damn.
That's what you
Okay.
call desire.
Yeah. Yeah, he's friendly. We'll put it that way.
Friendly.
What's up, everybody? Hanging out, everybody streaming, everybody listening, everybody in the chat room. Let's go. Let's roll call this bad boy. I see Gigi, I see Daz, I see M. Reyes, I see Anthony, I see Philly, I see Peter, I see John, I see Chris, I see
Yeah.
Philly, I see David, I see Mama Brooks. What's up, Mama Brooks? Mr. Taz, Adam,
Well,
James.
Oh, Mama Brooks is back.
Mama Brooks.
Well, let me
She
tell you
doing
about Mama
good?
Brooks. Mama Brooks got my wife in this canning. So I tell you, my mom's a doomsday prepper.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
she does all this canning and stuff. Why did she
Good.
get Sanji into it now? Now
Oh,
she's
no.
got all these. She's canning all this stuff. I'm like, come on. Now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man.
I was
a
up
lot
till
of
12 o'clock last night canning stuff.
Well, good. That's you know what though. That's good because I'm gonna tell you why. When I was a kid coming up and spending a lot of time on my grandparents' farm in Tennessee, they did a lot of canning, peaches, stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you something. It tastes so much better, even 6 months later. Tastes so much better than the stuff you buy at the stores a lot of times.
She said that when you can it, all the
nutrients.
stuff.
What is that? Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
when you can food, like she made, like I make homemade spaghetti sauce.
All right,
and I made some, and they can it. Like my mom has.
You're putting it in jars. You're putting it in. They call it canning.
And sealing it.
Yeah,
and the stuff will last for years.
Yep.
Okay.
Like right now, my mom could sit down in the basement and live for about 3 years with all the stuff she's canned.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's what it is. But
Makes sense.
I was up doing. I'm not a fan of it.
Why?
I like to see her do it. Dog, it's work, man. You wash the dishes and everything
you
else.
better believe it.
It's tough, man. I don't like all that. I mean, you got to wash stuff and you got to cut stuff up and you got to process this and you got to do that and you got to cook this.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of work, man. It's a lot of work,
bro. It's a whole lot of work, and I didn't feel like doing it last night. We had a tape late because the Phillies played, so I was already mad about that.
I hear you.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, come on, man.
But let's be honest. If she was in a bunker and had a
you
bunker
see my
down,
mom said, "Excuse you."
Oh, you're in trouble again, man.
If she had to bunker down for 3 years with you and your brother, that food ain't lasting 3 years. Now.
My brother go downstairs. She canned greens. She even canned hamburger. Like
I've never seen that.
She cans some hamburger. He comes down, grabs a can, warms up in the microwave, nachos instantly like that.
Oh, there you go to town.
There you go.
Yeah, man. I'm like, well, in that case, yeah, okay, I'm good. I'll be good with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
gotcha.
I'll definitely be good with that.
All right. All right. Well, listen, we got a lot in store today. We have Eagles are actually practicing. Believe it or not, they're not off today. So they're back at practice. Are the Birds set for Monday night? Phillies won again last night. They've won now 5 straight. You guys know they're on pace for 91 wins. Like 91 wins. That is a hell of an accomplishment for a team that was a disaster, basically rolling into June when they fired Joe Girardi.
Right. I was about to say last year, but no, you're right. It
wasn't even last year.
June, Remember, you had wrote them off in June. You were ready to.
I didn't know. I thought they were too good to be this garbage. It was Girardi.
Yep.
Oh my God.
He was too busy getting everybody fired. That's the problem.
That's true.
Rob was like doomsday for May and June.
Right. It worked. I can't. It worked.
Yes.
I mean,
he was trying to get us fired too, Barrett.
No,
you didn't know about that.
If he'd have tried to get us fired, we'd be fired. So
I don't do that. No.
I'm too ornery to go down.
Number one, that would never happen. And number two, I don't have anywhere that kind of power, man.
Well, I
just work here, as Hollis Thomas would say.
What? D-Gun, what?
Man. You the one, bro. You can't fire you, bro.
Yeah.
You
could get Barrett and I bounced by the end of the show if you really wanted to.
What are you talking about?
You know people that know people that
you have power.
Get us out of here. Yeah.
Well, that is true. But y'all like family, man. You know what? Family from afar. That's what I love most about you.
I didn't tell you. I forgot to tell you guys this. So yesterday, I'm walking the dog, right? And you guys know it's the most humiliating thing when you're picking up dog poop, but it's necessary, right?
Right.
Okay. So I'm doing this. So I'm holding her. I'm holding her with my left. I have the leash with the left hand.
Where's he going with this?
I'm scooping up. No, I just thought of it because I'm looking at my torn up fingers. I don't know if you guys can even see that. So let me see if I get close. It's like all blistered and banged up. I don't know.
That's rope burns, yeah.
It's rope burns. It's exactly what it is. So I'm picking it up. I'm getting it in the bag, and I'm holding the leash, with the one hand and doing the bag with the other hand. And the thing slips out of my hand, and it's the expandable one. Goes back and forth.
Yeah.
She realizes this and goes bananas. She's like, woo! Like it's a party because she broke loose, right? And meanwhile, I scoop up the poop, and then I'm like, I'm Bailey, sit. She's not listening to anything, right? So the leash is sitting there, and I grab it like the hard plastic part. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
The release on it and all that.
Yeah.
So I sort of try to step on it so she doesn't get away. That doesn't work. I almost dive at. Thinking this is all happening. There are people outside watching this, by the way.
And you got poop on your hands.
I know, right? No, I'm okay. Actually, I'm okay with the poop right now. At that point, I was still okay. So I use bags, Daz. Fun fact: Rob doesn't use gloves or bags. Yes, I just pick it up, Daz. You're right. So I try to like dive at it, and I miss the plastic part, and I get the rope part with my hand.
Oh no! Yep.
And then she takes off like Usain Bolt. Okay, like Quez Watkins has nothing on this dog. In terms of speed. Okay. So I have the rope, and it's like in between my middle finger and like my ring finger on my right hand, and the rope just goes zzz, like it was like I could feel heat coming off my skin. Okay. So I'm like, Bailey, and then somehow I switch hands. I have the tote bag now in my right hand, and I try and grab it with my left, and my whole left gets like cut down like this way. Finally, she got like scared because I was out of my mind, and I got her. But like I know there was like at least two. This one girl was sitting on her stoop, like catching a smoke. Like, what is this maniac doing? And then there was this older dude like trimming his like sidewalk, and he was just like, oh, I can't walk by there again. Moral of the story: I can't go through my usual route anymore. But my hands are all torn up. All torn up.
This maniac.
Yeah.
Oh my
Anyway.
goodness.
I don't know. I felt like I had to share that with you guys. I feel better now.
Oh man.
Hey, look at G Meta. Gross. I'm eating breakfast too.
It is gross. It is gross. Yeah, it was not.
Oh,
it was
man.
not. It was not a pleasant experience. And I didn't spill any of the poop. It stayed in the bag, but my hands got all torn up by the rope. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, Dad's deals. Yeah, I did watch the All 22, and when I watched the All 22, fellas.
All right. Let's go there. So they're back at practice today. Minnesota's on Monday. We know that. We know the Vikings handle the Packers pretty sound. One of the things we're going to do today is we're going to look back at the Vikings game, what they did against the Packers.
Yeah,
we are going to dive into the Eagles and kind of look at we have Shil Kapati at 1:00. We'll do some Phillies. We will also look back at the NFC East. We call it the NFC East Watch, which we do each and every Thursday. We'll look back at how the three teams in the NFC East did besides the Birds. Tell us, Barrett, give us your impressions of the all 22, which means that's what the coaches and the players watch. You can see everything. It's not the TV broadcast. You see it all unfolding.
It depends on where you want to tell you about the Eagles. Or you want me to tell you about Minnesota?
Talk about the Eagles first.
All right. Well, what I saw at the defense is we still have a lot of work to do in learning how to play with each other. This team doesn't know quite yet how to relate to each other. That's why, remember when I was telling you guys that the best thing that this defense could do when they required CJ Garner-Johnson was to leave him at slot. And I told you guys before, I thought he was a better slot than Avonte Maddox anyways. Yeah. But leave him there at slot, move Avonte back to safety because Avonte knows the defense. He's been a part of the defense, and it'd be a smoother transition because all he has to do is just reverse what he's done. He knows where his help was, and he would play to his help where the safety would be.
Right.
So he would think, all right, well, I just got to do reverse of what I did. I got to be his help because where I thought the help was, that's where I need to be at. Long story long, he just doesn't know the run fits. A lot of the times, with the trapping and everything, when linebackers not filling, it was also a lot of the times CJ was down in the hole, but did not know how to have leverage in where he was supposed to be at. He didn't go too far in or not come in far enough. Sometimes you got to go shoot your shot and go get the guy. Sometimes you have to wait and rally the troops and wait for somebody to come. Those are all things you learn from being in the defense. Right. I understand they're going to take their bumps and bruises with him being there, and eventually he's going to be a really good safety for this team. But why do it that way when you can have him in there at a position of strength there, and at the best, he's the best slot corner we have.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish your point on that because I wanted to ask you about another defensive back who people think may have had a good game, but maybe he didn't. But go ahead with your thoughts there. Yeah,
so Avonte played well, but they took advantage of people not knowing where they're supposed to be at, and that's what made this. It made it look even more glaringly bad because the missed tackles because they weren't where they're supposed to be at, and we just need to run out and do better in tackling. Period. So that's my synopsis of this.
But it's like I said, Barrett, earlier, when you have that many new bodies starting, not just role players, but starters on a defense, and you don't play together much in a preseason. And we all know, I don't care if they did have controlled scrimmages with other teams and controlled scrimmages against each other. It's a whole nother ball game when you hit the ground running. When you say on your mark, get set, go to start a regular season, it's amped up twofolds compared to what you go through in a training camp. And these guys are still trying to get comfortable. People talk about yelling out signals, but on both sides of the ball, there's that unspoken word when you can look at somebody and know where they're going to go and you're going to go, that they still have to build that chemistry yet. It's not there.
People don't understand. They don't understand the value of the unspoken stuff. Like I know when, even look with us, the three of us working together, we know we can go in on the top. We know we got to stop. We got to, allow, we know when it's go on. Yeah, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We see, we know when Rob wants to push, keep it going, and and we make him mad. He doesn't get mad and look mad, but he's mad, so we know we better chill out.
My wife said, Rob is very good at just maintaining that stoic look about him, and just keep going. I said, yeah, better than not try to push the envelope every now and then. And Rob is just very stoic and very professional, and he's dealing with two class clowns, and I'm sure he's thinking, and I signed up for this mess.
Now, he's like, they know Xander wants me to keep going.
That guy there isn't thought bubbles. That's all. One of those deals. Yeah, thank God. No, but Barrett, you're right, and that is something we talked about leading up to the game. You're talking, even though they're good players, it's a lot of new players, man, and it's a lot to get used to. Speaking of that, I wanted to hit you with this because there's a differing school of thoughts on what kind of game he had. So Bradbury had the pick six, no question. That was sweet, right?
Yes, he
but
did.
I didn't watch all 11. I just watched the game broadcast again. He had a tough game, man. I thought.
Yeah. He did. Knowing when to stay with a guy, crossing the field when you're in man-to-man, knowing where your help is. All those things come with guys understanding where they fit in the defense. And that's hard, man. It's hard because if you don't know, it'd be like an offensive lineman, and they've called Luke big. Luke means the left side. We're going to fade the center to the left side, and they block man, and big on the backside. Big meaning the two big men. They got to block the three technique in the end. You say Luke big, and they have the center. The nose guard then flips sides, and he flips over to the right side, and we're already going Luke. Now, the left guard thinks that he has help because the center's going that way. Well, since that center, the nose guard went to the other side of the center, if he can't call out, he done that, it's got to go to Ray Big now, so it flips it. If he does that, that center still thinks, that guard still thinks that he has help with the center coming to the left. Now they've got three on the big side, and the three brings the center with him. So that's a tough call for the guard, no understanding where he needs to go. So if you don't know, then somebody's going to come scot-free. And that's what happens sometimes. And on the defensive side of the ball, if they're in a zone coverage, and all of a sudden that wide receiver in front of him, he runs a 9 route, even though they're in zone, it changes the responsibility that corner now is cover 3. That corner now has to carry that guy all the way back like it's man-to-man. So even if he goes up and he stays in the 9 route, but then he turns around and he runs a drag across, he's got to follow that drag because he came and he crossed his face. He's got to stay on that outside receiver, even though he's crossing the field. So if he doesn't know that, it's hard for a defense. Now a guy's running scot-free. That's exactly what happened against Green Bay a lot of the time because they didn't know what the hell they were doing also.
Yeah, Green Bay against the Vikings.
But see, in Green Bay's case, you had a bunch of guys that played together already. There was no excuse for that. Those guys had played together. Whereas in the Eagles' case, you had 2 new secondary personnel back there. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
2/4 of your secondary was new. And one guy only got here like 10 days ago.
Yeah, Gardner-Johnson, yeah.
So that's a big difference. Green Bay had no excuse for letting Justin Jefferson run scot-free wide open over the middle of the field all day.
Barrett, how about watching the all 22 Reddick? Like, what was your sense there? Is he just still not – is he not being used right, or is he still thinking too much out there? Rather than reacting?
That's exactly what he's still thinking. What is he supposed to be doing? Even when he's being a pass rusher, he's still thinking on how he's going to do it instead of letting things just naturally come to him. Like he has a second and third move that he didn't even use. He tried to go with the first move, and once he got with the first move, it's like, all right, he stopped me. Then he starts looking around like, all right, what am I going to do now? That's not his game. When you're a pass rusher, just go, get there. You know what I'm saying? Get there. And you can tell he's just thinking too daggone much, man. Way too much.
I think I got a bad feeling. The scheme that Gannon is using him in is not conducive to his skill set.
Derek, I've been worried about that all off season. He is a particular kind of guy. He's got to be used particularly. And, people, maybe Eagles fans don't want to know this, but he looked like he was going to be a massive bust early in his career in Arizona. Now,
he did.
They finally listened to him when he's look, this is what I do best. And then they let him loose, and then he crushed it, and he did really well in Carolina, but he has to be used the right way. He's not your traditional just, go tee off at defensive end guy.
Now, and Rob, when we had Silly on the other day, and he said Reddick is not a run defender. He's a pass rusher.
Yes.
That's a red flag for me. That's a red flag, because if you don't stop that run and force these teams to pass, then you're neutralizing what you brought him here to do, basically.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm worried about it. Sure.
He's almost too specialized. And there lies the problem.
Yes.
When you're too specialized, that means that, you're a one-trick pony, and you don't want him to be out there. You want a guy to pull full speed. You don't want a guy thinking. You know what I'm saying? You don't want him thinking at all. You want him just reacting, reading, reacting. When things become second nature to you, it makes it easier for you to go out there and accomplish what you need to accomplish. Second, that's why you have to have the offensive line playing together so they become almost homogeneous in how they think. Everybody's thinking the same way. We see this, and we've seen it happen before. We've seen this. So my eyes go exactly. There was times where I'd sit back on my defensive end, and I see him stop. So I see him stop, my eyes will go inside. Like, I know somebody's coming in. So I look inside, but still keep my hand out. Look inside to make sure that the tackle's not coming up, try to blast me, and then the end drops around and goes inside. But that's a feel with you and your guards. It's like, bam, bam. So I'm looking inside, keeping an eye on him. My body's on him, so I can read and react. Just like at the linebacker position. All right, somebody goes away, there's going to be somebody coming in the field where somebody just went away. That's why linebackers have to be instinctive. Once you see this happen, his key happens, bam, hit it going downhill. Don't worry about anything else. Your reads are your reads. You might get, caught up in the wash as far as in the play action, but, hey, that's what you pay those guys in the secondary to do, to cover.
So Barrett, when you talk about Reddick, now it makes me wonder, why is he with his third team in 3 years?
I don't know.
See,
I think it's
and Cilio brought that up, and I'm like, I never looked at it like that. You're talking about a guy, huh?
Yeah, some of it's money with Carolina.
I don't know, Rob, because if you want somebody bad enough, teams know how to get you under the cap. They know how to get you in.
Listen, I agree. I ultimately you're right, but we take it for granted that everybody can manipulate the cap like Howie, and some teams aren't true. That adept at doing it. But I hear you. It's fair. It's a fair question for sure. Yeah, I worry too that, like, Gannon's not up to the task with being able to utilize him the right way too. I don't know, man. Like, I come out of Sunday, man, worried about the way things are being run defensively. Barrett, am I overreacting?
No, not right now. You're not overreacting at all. You're just telling the truth right now. And sad to say that's what happens, man, when you have new guys come in. And Gannon is a smart guy, but being a leader of men, you got to know how to maximize the potential of each guy that you have there. Mm-hmm. Does it always work out? No. And this may be one of those times where it's going to take a little longer than we thought of guys meshing together. There's no way that we shouldn't have had Davis on the field on first down, every first down, to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way we shouldn't have had that. Especially when we started leaking early. When you start leaking oil early,
second play,
that means that you got to stop. You got to stop the leak. You got to fix that leak. And he could have went in and fixed that leak. Run a defense that would help you fix that. If he doesn't play on first down this next game, it's going to be a real problem.
Chris
D.
The wheels are falling off the game. No, Chris, they're not off yet. We're still in the shop right now.
They got a few holes in the wheels. Got holes in the spokes though. The spokes are cracking.
I got the mechanics working overtime, man, and we're going to get everything straightened out. Well, I will say this. This is not the week to be doing this sort of figuring this thing out on the fly with this Vikings team.
Yeah, you don't want to be ciphering like this. You want to already have the keys, the answers to the test already. That's what you want. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, am I like, Oro, what are we going to do? Woe is moon. It's not doomsday. No, it's none of that. It's not like we're out trying to can everything. You know what I'm saying? We got to can all this stuff. No, we're not canning anything. We're just sitting back. We're just fine tuning it now. It's not like my mom. My mom's a doomsday prepper. We're not doomsday prepper right now. We're not canning. Right. We're not at that point. We may be out there smoking a couple things, but we're not doing that.
Well, all right. So that the defensive side, flip to the offensive side. What your takeaways are from the all-22? Wherever you want to go with it. I mean, I know we all know AJ Brown went nuts. What's your sense generally about the offense?
That teams are going to do that. They're going to blitz us and make Hurts go out there and win the game.
Okay.
They're gonna make Hurts go run. What they're gonna do, they're not gonna be pass blitzes. They're gonna be run blitzes. They're gonna be blitzes that are gonna come up. They're gonna test the A gaps and B gaps, and on the outside they're gonna, keep them bottled up on the inside. We call it mush rushing, when defensive ends just come up the field and just boom hit you. And once they get to the same level as a quarterback, they're gonna slow down and try to press the pocket. Keeping small rush lanes so we can't just run through and make plays like he did last time. They're going to keep them confined, but they are going to run blitzes up the middle to stop the run. So we call those run blitzes, not to stop the pass, but stop the run and make him go over the top and get it to those receivers. They want to make believers.
Barry, how many? We know he did amazing things with his legs and threw pretty well for the most part. Were there opportunities downfield where he should have thrown when he took off? I don't mean the ones where he just
minimal
had no chance. Yeah, okay.
Minimal.
Right.
Everybody's saying, "Oh, you can." No, it's not. They didn't go through his reads. There were people in his face as soon as the ball was snapped. Yep. Aaron Glenn was so aggressive. He was very aggressive. Mm-hmm. So because of that, as soon as the ball was snapped, there was somebody in his face that was a hot read. So he was able to do. When he had time, he tried to go through his read. There's only like 2 times that he ran without, nobody, no pressure on him. So it wasn't like he would. He did what he had to do. He got the ball out in quick fashion. Also, Even the ones he threw to, he threw 2 passes. I thought that Smith dropped 2, caught 1, and 1 it was overthrown.
Nullified with the penalty. The catch.
Yeah. That catch was nullified with the penalty. Then he dropped 2 passes also. And then one of them, he was just overthrown by Hurts. It was Hurts' fault.
Okay. Hey, what do you guys make of this? So Kevin O'Connell is the Vikings coach, first-year coach. He was the offensive coordinator with the Rams last year. He declined to talk to the Philadelphia media today.
Ooh,
wow. Strange.
Disrespectful.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah, it is.
Because every coach has a session with the out-of-town media. Yeah.
Second game of his NFL career as a head coach, and he's declining? Kind of a weird move, no?
That's not a weird move. That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
He said, bleep you, Philadelphia. That's what he did.
That should be a fine. In all actuality, that should be a fine.
Exactly. Aren't they required to talk to the opposing city?
I don't know if it's mandatory. I don't know. You might be right.
Have you ever seen that happen before? I've never seen it happen. Oh, I did.
If it did, I can't remember it in recent years.
I'm sure it has, but I'm just not. I can't recall exactly.
Right.
That sounds like something Belichick would do.
Yeah,
right.
But
That's
Belichick
I've seen it happen,
can do that. You know what I mean? He's got gravitas. This guy's in his second game as a head coach. I don't know. I just maybe I don't know how much fans like. I think fans probably don't care about that kind of stuff. I just find it kind of weird.
Yeah,
kind of weird.
Why?
Yeah.
What did Philadelphia do to you?
Like, are you worried about revealing secrets? Is that what?
Wow.
And also, guys, I was worried about Minnesota at first. I'm not as much worried about Minnesota now.
Well,
so you feel like it was more Packers' poor play than it was?
That's exactly what it was.
Good
more
Vikings.
Packers, and it not even that. It was more so Green Bay played. I mean, that didn't even look like a NFL team at some times, man. Mm-hmm. Like on offense, they were dropping touchdowns.
Yep.
Christian dropped a touchdown at the beginning of the game.
And they botched the 4th and goal.
Yes. And I mean, they just played bad. Even Rodgers played bad. A-Rod played bad.
Yeah, he admitted. He came out and said it,
So it's more so, I'm thinking more so they they put a bad product on the field. Not taking anything from number
Minnesota.
two. Number two is real. That's my biggest threat. Number two, you know what I'm saying? He is the real deal. He can run that pill, man. He can definitely run that pill. I was surprised. Yeah. Number two is that dude. You know what I'm saying? He will definitely take a deuce on you if you let him. He's
wonder.
that talented.
He will take a deuce on you if you let. You've been hanging out with Jalen Hurts again?
Yeah, Hurts, AJ, all those guys.
Just flush it. Don't look back. I want obviously Jefferson's going to be the focal point. And we'll get into this more in a second, but I just Thielen didn't do much. I wonder how he's looking to bust out this week. He's got to be.
That's what scares me. Because you put so much emphasis on playing some, you got to play somebody over the top on Jefferson. You put so much emphasis, all of a sudden Adam Thielen pops up and he's got 150 yards catching. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
Well, now I wouldn't say now it was past 4 years. I would say yes, that would bother me, but I believe in Bradbury and I believe in Slay. They'll get the job done. Okay. They'll get the job done. So I need to know.
Are you gonna play Jefferson one-on-one?
I would.
What?
Wow.
No,
just throw Slay on him
and have somebody over the top. Over the top.
Okay, I agree with you there. Because here's what concerns me. I don't think the Eagles, just with this 4-man rush, can get home. Minnesota has two really good tackles. They got Christian Darrisaw, who was a first-round pick, and on the other side, they got a guy named Brian O'Neill. Yep. They have two really good tackles.
Delaware kid right there, Gunner. Yes, representing your state.
That's right. Yeah. And both of them are solid bookend tackles. And your 4-man rushing will get,
Reason I say that is they're going to have to run same way that they're going to run blitz against us. We're going to run blitz against them. We have to have a defender in the box to stop Cook, and we're paying our secondary a lot of money, to go out there and play. So I believe
Bradbury ain't getting a lot of money, but you know
10 million. What did 10 million not be? But it's
he's good. If he plays well, he's going to get paid.
Hey, that's chump change in the days. But when you look at what DBs are making now over the last year, the contracts they've got, hey man, that's pocket change, man. That's not a lot of money.
No, I hear you.
I played 12 years. I played 12 years and barely made that.
I know, man.
Oh, it's amazing how times have changed. All right, we come back. We'll dig a little bit deeper into the Vikings. We didn't get a chance to get to this because we had so much else going on. We'll do our top 10 offensive players of the week.
Where are we doing that? Where are we doing it?
We're going to do it. Combo effort. That and break down the Vikings when we get back. All right. Gunner, we're coming out firing, man.
Rob telling poop stories and
I know. You're welcome. You're welcome, America, and everywhere. I got other cups here. It's bad, man. I play hurt, man. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Hands are all banged up. Let's go. We're all good. All right.
Here we go, Rob.
When we get back. Sheil Kapadia coming up from the Ringer at 1:00. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, let's talk Jim Murray. And let's talk Principal Financial Group because, finances can be scary, how to invest your money. If you're not quite sure, you're not a financial expert. I know I'm not. I needed all the help I can get. I found the right person in Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, IRA, you just set up a small business on your own and you're trying to figure out employee benefits, any of those kind of things Jim can help you with. And if you're not really sure, you give him a call and he can help you. All right, 610-996-4751. That's 610-996-4751. That's how you can reach him. Now, for me personally, I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers with Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. Again, 610-996-4751. You want to email. His email is Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's the #1 news at 10 p.m. Action News on PHL 17. Join Shari Williams, Gray Hall, Deuces Rogers, and meteorologist Adam Joseph for all the big stories at a time that's right for you. Action News at 10 p.m. on PHL 17.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Up, and go Birds.
Welcome back in, everybody. Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. D Gunn, B Brooks, R Ellis on this Thursday. Hey, appreciate everybody hanging out, everybody watching, everybody streaming, everybody listening. We are low on the like buttons. We have not done a great job on the likes of late. So let's hammer those like buttons if we could, people. We really appreciate it if you could assist us in that area. So we'll get on the likes. Hey, by the way, I'll be hanging out tonight at Screwballs in King of Prussia with the JAKIB crew. So I'm looking forward to that, 6 to 8 tonight. So if you get a chance to pop out, say hi.
Is it free food? Watch the game?
Barrett, I will make that happen for you, my man. I will make it
there it is
happen
then.
For you. Yes.
There it is.
Nice.
Yes, there it is.
Yes. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Hey, I want to remind everybody also the first installment of Gun on One is out. Brandon Graham is the guest.
Nice.
Came out, last night, Brandon talked about why he plays with his chip on his shoulder, why family has become so important to him. We talked about what they did wrong in the first game, what they need to improve on, what they have to do to get to Kirk Cousins. So we ran the gamut last night. The numbers initially, great numbers so far. Everybody get a chance. Check out the latest Gun on One. If you don't watch it on the JAKIB Sports Media YouTube channel, you can get it on Apple, Spotify as well. If you're driving in your cars, working around the house, whatever the case may be. But, hey, we're back. Gun on One is back. I mean, I got too much stuff going on around here, man. I got people cutting the grass outside. My kids forgot to pick up all the dog toys in the backyard and forgot to wrap up I got a 100-foot water hose. I hope this dude don't run over my hose, man. I paid too much money for this water hose.
You know that's happening, bro.
I got dogs, man, dogs barking all over the place, man. I'm like, I can't focus on what you're saying, man. I'm like ADD today,
hey,
bro.
Man,
I'm
we
all
need
over
you
the
locked
place.
in, man. We need you I need you right here, Derek. Come on, man.
I'm all over the place.
All right. So I mentioned Kevin O'Connell declined to speak with the media. Nick Sirianni is meeting with the media. There was that little, there was a lot, probably not a lot, but there were some people making a big deal out of, some of the comments that were made by Jonathan Gannon, where he talked about how Howie Roseman was in on the sort of decision-making with personnel to an extent.
Right.
And basically Nick's saying, like, he's not really in on deciding what happens in game. It's more of a roster thing to let the league know who's available, who isn't. I mean,
they put that fire out real quick. Yeah, they put that fire real quick. Hold on.
I hear you. Do you think it's a big deal? That's where I'm going with this.
Yes, I think something was said that shouldn't have been said.
Oh, I agree with that.
That's exactly what happened there.
That's what happened. And they had a huddle, closed door meeting huddle. I mean, come on. It became common knowledge in Doug Peterson's last year that Howie was setting the 46-man roster every game day.
You think there was hey, Johnny, come on in, man. Listen,
John,
you don't want to be revealing
man.
that kind of stuff anymore.
Look here, man. We got enough to worry about, okay?
Yeah.
All right. You know what? You can't be telling stuff like this, man, okay? Let's just keep that between us.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
They already don't like me, man. Come on. They already don't like me.
That's fine, man. All right. So couple other odds and ends here from the game itself. So we talked about the Vikings a little bit. They won 23-7. Of note, not surprising. Justin Jefferson, 9 catches, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. You guys realize, Derek, I know you did because you watched it, watch it like the Zapruder tape, I'm sure, the game. But
no, I only got to see the highlights. I was driving home during the game from Atlantic City. Yeah.
So he had 158 yards just in the first half.
That's disgusting.
So he goes off. Cook, who Barrett referenced earlier, 20 rushes, 90 yards.
Yep.
Cousins, very efficient, 23 of 32, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. He didn't throw an interception. He was sacked once. On the other side of it, we mentioned Jordan Hicks the other day, 14 tackles and a sack. He went crazy. But the numbers aren't, they were smart. They were only committed 3 penalties. Other than that, I went through like team stats. There's not a ton that's going to blow you away from the game, really in watching it. 4 for 13 on third down. Okay. The one thing I did notice, it's obvious with Justin Jefferson. So first 2 seasons in the NFL, 3,016 yards is the most receiving yards by anybody that's ever lived. Yep. So he's on that kind of pace. So this is what you're going to be dealing with. It's a good offense with some talent on the defensive side too. I mean, it's a good team. I think they're a playoff team ultimately. I do.
I refuse to agree with you on that regard until further notice.
Sorry to hurt you, Derek. I had to get it out, man.
I will debate you all day on that, Rob. I'm sorry, but I just cannot agree with you in that regard. But
Barrett, you said earlier you're not as concerned after watching them.
No, I'm not. I mean, you're going to get better. You can't. To me, they're in a position where they can be very good also. You see the talent that they have. They can be very good also. So, you have to understand there's so many things that happen on week 1. You know what I'm saying? You can't just go out there and be like, all right, it's doom or gloom, or all right, we're as good as we said we are. I mean, certain guys you said like Patrick Mahomes, he fits the bill.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He gave you 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. That could be status quo for him. He's that good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But then you look at Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz gives you 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he did through 2 interceptions. Yep. It's good and the bad. So that's you have to temper your expectations.
Look, it's fair enough. I mean, I think part of the Eagles, obviously they're happy that they won, but they also know, in some senses they have to be so much better than they were.
Well,
and
that's it right there. See, you're right, Rob, but it's not fool's gold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. It's not fool's gold.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what good leadership does too.
Yes.
They keep you honest, in a lot of ways.
Yep.
And I think, you heard Kelsey. Kelsey, you're talking this week, and he basically said, look, we won, and that's really ultimately what matters. But we know there's a lot of stuff we need to clean up. Our communication wasn't good enough. We really struggled with the blitz. That's not characteristic of us, and that's what we need to get our act together on that side of the ball. And if he's saying that, that's what's being said.
Do the pieces fit? That's what that offense is going to be a problem all season for opposing defenses.
Yep.
Defensively, do the pieces fit the scheme? That's a big question. There's no question they have the talent, but do the pieces fit? Now, to answer, it's only a 1-game sample, but as of right now, because of the way we've all, not just us, but every show in this tri-state region have dissected it, right now it doesn't look like the pieces fit. Okay? So we've got to see a better sample. Monday night, 6 days later, a week of this coming Sunday, we got to find out in a hurry. Do these pieces fit? And if they don't fit, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Where does the problem start? Who does Rob want to get fired next?
Now, look, in fairness, I've been very supportive of Jonathan Gannon.
Yes, yes,
right?
you have been.
Okay.
You try to get his wagon going.
Hold up. He was supportive, and all of a sudden, the Gann wagon was running at full pace. After week 1, he's pumping the brakes on the Gann wagon.
This is smart maintenance, Derek. I knew if I kept driving down the road, we would have broken down. So I got off. We're getting things taken care of. By Monday, it's going to be full bore ahead, man. That's how it's going to be rolling. No, but I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't a little bit worried about some things on defense. I am valid.
Well,
like,
look at Brian H. Fire him now.
Everybody
keeps saying that, man.
There is less patience for Gannon than I can remember for almost anybody in a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, he didn't help himself, And then everybody wants to throw back in our faces. Well, last year he was a top 10 defenses. No, everybody just sucked last year also.
Yeah.
Nobody plays nobody really plays defense anymore. There's only a few people that play defense.
Do people want Gannon fired more than they wanted Juan Castillo fired when he was a defensive coordinator?
Oh.
Remember that?
You know what? I blame that on Andy. Like I wasn't even mad at Juan Castillo. He was just, what are you doing, man? He was totally miscast.
Well, you know what? Juan talked him into it. Juan is a defense guy. He played linebacker at Texas A&I.
Right. Which is
laughing, man? Why are you laughing?
I couldn't even dress it up, man, because I can't even dress it up because he was my coach and I love Juan.
Yeah.
And
he's a great dude.
But he taught us from a defensive standpoint. He taught the offensive line like he was a defensive coach, like we were defensive guys.
Right.
Like he preached aggressiveness. That's why you had all those nasty players. Dang, Brian, he is going in.
Yeah,
no, hold up, man. Hold up. Go up if you round for P Toilet. I wouldn't trust Gannon to coordinate my fantasy team.
God. It was only week 1, right? I mean, was it only week 1
today, man?
Oh my God,
Brian, calm down, man. Calm down.
I'm with you. Just let it play out.
They're ready to tar and feather him already. He is ready. No, but I'm saying, like, honestly, you know what I'm saying? He taught us, to be aggressive. That's why you saw the way Big Trey played and Big Runyon played. They played nasty. They played because he taught from a defensive vantage point as opposed to being a offensive-minded coach. We were very aggressive in our sets, very aggressive how we played the game. And that was because he taught an aggressive style of football. And he thought that was just going to transfer over to defense, where he played defense in college. Here he is. He was a linebacker in college, and his first gig was in Seattle as an assistant offensive line coach. Mm-hmm. So that's how he got his foot in the league, and he just stayed on the offensive line side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
So
that makes sense.
Now, everybody already, even before the season started, everybody was on fire Gannon. Even more so after this game against Detroit, fire Gannon. I'm not there yet. I'm not close to being there yet. No. But let's say it didn't gel the way we think it should gel. And let's say, because we've seen teams make coaching changes mid-season, and everybody's like, bring in Vic Fangio. See, I don't think they would bring in somebody from the outside. I think they would elevate somebody from inside.
You talking about if something went down during the year?
If something went down,
absolutely. Yeah. You go in.
You're not going to bring anybody from the outside.
You can't bring in somebody from the outside.
No. That's suicide. You're not going to have somebody
do you know how bad this would have to be for that to even be a consideration? Like,
it won't be that bad. It won't be that bad, though.
There's too much talent for it to look like this. I mean,
bend and don't break. That's his philosophy. He's a bend and don't break guy.
Yeah,
it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I see, like, Eagles fans says, Fangio runs the same system. LOL. Everybody knows he runs the same system, but bringing in somebody new who hasn't been here, and I know he visited a couple times in camp, but hasn't been around the team, just doesn't happen. Think about how often that's happened around the NFL, where you bag a coordinator. I know we're doing like crazy hypothetical, like rabbit hole stuff here, but it just wouldn't happen. I just don't see. I think there's too much talent. I truly believe there's too much talent, and I think that you got to let it play out. Like Barrett pointed out earlier, man, you're talking about Reddick. If you want to throw Davis into the mix, Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Kaiser White, Am I missing? That's at least 5 new faces that are going to get have prominent roles with this team on one side of the ball. That's
we haven't even seen Dean. He only played 3 snaps.
Right. So you're talking about almost like half of the amount of players that are even out there are new.
Right.
It's going to take a minute.
But see, Buffalo plays that bend but don't break defense, but they play it at a whole nother level. Their scheme, that Sean McDermott scheme is at a whole nother level.
Yeah, I agree. It is. They are. Look, Buffalo's freaking really good, man. I mean, both sides of the ball. That is a good
all those
team.
All those guys have played together for a long time.
Yes.
And plus, they got one hell of a pass rusher coming off the edge. Also.
Yeah,
but they had 3 rookies also played significant minutes for snap. So they plugged in 3 rookies because the regulars were down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, those dudes didn't miss a beat.
Well, Tre'Davious White, one of the better corners in the league, he was out. And the 2 kid, the 2 first rounder and I think was it 4th or 6th rounder?
Yes.
The kid from Villanova.
Yep.
They played like Pro Bowlers.
They did. And real quick, I'm definitely preaching patience here with Gannon and the defense. But the other thing is, Buffalo's got Leslie Frazier's been around a long time. Leslie Frazier is a really good. He should be a head coach again. He's a really good defensive coordinator. So let's. It's apples and oranges. Gannon's relatively new to this thing.
Well, you basically have 2 defensive coordinators because Sean McDermott is a great defensive mind.
Very true.
So you have 2 defensive coordinators on that team.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. It's going to take a minute. It is. And it may not be perfect on Monday night. Does it have to be better? Yeah, it needs to be better than what we saw on Sunday, or else this team will really expose you.
What do you want better? You want the run stopping better, or you want? I
want the run stopping better in particular, and I there has to be a better pass rush. Like Goff was way too comfortable back there, and Cousins is better than Goff.
And what's more important, stopping a run or rushing? But sometimes you have to give one.
I would say it's more important to get to the quarterback.
And no question about it. You don't get to Kirk Cousins, I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna tear him up. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah, I think
you better get to Cousins.
I think he's going to hurt them.
So sometimes you got to give one up to pacify the other.
I guess, Barrett, if I'm not getting it, let me put it this way: if Cook had 90 last week, I don't know if he has 90, I can kind of live with that. It's not terrible, right?
You can't live with a $188.
Can't live with a $188.
No, but if Cook is getting 90 and he's having 5.1, 5.2 yards a carry, that's a problem. That's a major problem.
It is.
No, I agree.
So that means you might have to give up playing Davis as much as you want because Davis, they don't know if he could rush the passer.
Right.
Here lies the problem, because we're screaming right now. We need Davis to play on first down to stop first down production.
Right.
But it's not at all a possibility that you can get a better pass rush when he's in the game. You get better pass rush. You have Hargraves and Fletcher Cox in the game. So it's like, do you bite your face? You bite your nose off to spite your face?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're screaming we want this, but then when they're not rushing the passer, we're going to definitely be pissed. You know what I'm saying? We're definitely going to be pissed.
I agree. Look, I'm with you, Barrett. I think that this is also where we find out about a guy, how you make your adjustments and whatnot. And this we're going to find a little bit about out of Jonathan Gannon as the further evidence of what it is here. And how much better are those guys from week 1 to week 2? We having played together now, they get more of a sense for each other. Some of that camaraderie and chemistry, for sure. All right, so let's jump into our top performers in the NFC, guys. We're gonna do this each and every week. We'll do both sides of the ball. Tomorrow. We're gonna do defense.
Wait, you say NFC or NFL?
NFL.
Oh, I thought you said NFC. You threw me for a loop for a minute. Why you wouldn't do that to me, Rob? I'm already messed up as it is today.
I'm not trying to make it any harder. Trust me, man. But we'll do defense tomorrow, and we'll do NFL top 10. So I'll go first if you got to do 10 through 6.
I got to go first because remember.
Let Barrett go first. Go ahead, Barrett.
My number one.
Why does Barrett go first?
I would say this. First, you got to go with Mahomes. You can't. 5 touchdowns, 360 yards. He has to be number 1.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But, in no particular order after that, I went Allen. Just not necessarily for the numbers because, he only threw for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the way in which he did it, the way in which he went out there and executed the offense was unbelievable.
Total command.
Yep. Then I got to go with Saquon Barkley. 164 yards, 1 touchdown. He won that game for the Giants.
Yeah.
He won it, almost by himself. Then I got to go with DeAndre Smith. I mean, we couldn't stop him.
Yep.
We could not stop him. So, I mean, you can't say anything but well done, because he balled out.
He was
against our team. Then I'll go AJ, 155. Even though there was no touchdowns, 155, they couldn't stop him.
10 catches too. That's dominant.
Very good. Then next, I got to go with Cooper Kupp. Even against that defense, he was still able to go out there and get 128 and a touchdown. And they knew he was getting the ball. They knew he was getting the ball. Yep. He was the only thing they had.
Yep.
Then I got to go with my Raiders pick, Adams. Adams took $141, 141, one touchdown.
Excellent. Yeah, he was excellent.
Then I got to go with the guy we're going to see this week, Justin Jefferson. 184, 2 touchdowns, unstoppable. Best receiver right now in the NFL, hands down. Then I'll go with Allen's Robin. You know what I'm saying? Allen is Batman. Diggs is Robin. He took for 122, 1 touchdown, and was killing Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
So, just him. And then I'll go with, South Jersey's finest, Jonathan Taylor.
Yes.
$161, 1 touchdown. Go. So that's my list, guys.
Good list, Barrett. You got to hop off. Derek and I can finish up. You got to go.
Right,
you got to do what you got to do, man.
Goodbye, Mr. Brooks.
He'll be back at 2. So he's not going. He's prepping for his college football activity. Let's do this, Derek. We got Shield coming up. Let's hold this. You and I. We'll do it out of Shield. All right. We'll give our top.
You're going to be. I didn't do my top 10 in any chronological order.
I didn't either, really.
But I did sneak a number 10 in there. You're going to go, what?
Okay.
I did. I'm throwing the loop because there's a certain aspect that doesn't get enough love in the NFL a lot of times. And I saw this when I said, you know what? I'm putting him on my list. It's my list. I can do what I want with it.
I like it, man. I like it, mixing it up like that. All right, good. So Sheil Kapadia from The Ringer is going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on the game, on the Eagles, on where things are headed, et cetera. Jonathan Gannon. We'll do all of that when we get back with Sheil. But yeah, we will finish off our top 10, Derek and I, as well. All right, don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, Sheil Kapadia coming up next. Let's talk Pro Action Restoration. Yes, Pro Action Restoration is the company that you call or reach out to if you have a home, you have a business, you have a property, you've experienced the inconvenience of water, smoke, fire, mold damage, you name it, they can help you. They're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. I've gone through it it was a weekend. It was a Saturday. Reached out to them. They got over there right away. They cleaned it up. They fixed the problem. They assessed what was going on. The price was very reasonable, and the crew was amazing. They were absolutely amazing. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades and will work in conjunction with your insurance company. It could be water, it could be fire, it could be smoke damage, mold remediation, you name it. They can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760. That's 610-623-3760. Or you could reach them online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's the #1 news at 10 p.m. Action News on PHL 17. Join Shari Williams, Gray Hall, Deuces Rogers, and meteorologist Adam Joseph for all the big stories at a time that's right for you. Action News at 10 p.m. on PHL 17.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Sports Take is back. Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn on this Thursday. Hope you're doing well out there, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Always fun chatting with our next guest. He is a podcaster and writer for The Ringer. You can follow him on Twitter at Sheil Kapadia. There's the man himself. What's up, Sheil?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, man. How you been?
Doing well. Getting ready for week 2. Once the season goes, it's just every day I know what I'm supposed to do, and then all of a sudden it'll be January.
Doesn't Thursday have that like special? Just I got a game tonight, man. It's got that little kick to it. Yeah, it's
good
Sunday's
one too. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and it's a great one. You're right, Sheil. It's a great one tonight, man. Cannot wait. All right, let's get your impressions of this thing, Sheil, because the Eagles won, and really, you went on the road in the NFL. I don't care what team it is. It is not an easy thing to do. But it felt like a survival, an escape more than anything else. What were your overall impressions of the game?
Yeah, I had totally different impressions of the offense and the defense. I mean, I leave that game feeling better about the offense than I did going into the season. They put up 455 yards. They're moving up and down the field. You score 38 points in a game, even though that was one defensive touchdown. I thought it was about as good of a debut as you could have hoped, especially when you see A.J. Brown. I mean, if you're an Eagles fan and you're wondering, all right, what's this going to look like? Are we going to be run heavy this year? And then you see what that guy can do and the jams he can get you out of. That's got to be exciting. And then defensively, totally different story. I mean, I think last time I was on with you guys was before the season, and you were asking me, do I have faith in them to figure it out? And I said, no, I'll believe it when I see it. And so that kind of reinforced my thinking that, let's see, it's year 2. You've got better players, but man, that was an ugly defensive performance.
Hey, Sheil, I've said since the game played itself out, and, people are really screaming about the inconsistent performance by the defense. And my concern right now is, and there's only a 1-game sample, and I have to keep making reference to that because people like to jump on things you say. I'm wondering is, and it's going to take a few games, do the pieces fit the scheme when you look at the defense? You can have all the talent in the world, but do the pieces fit the scheme? Are you asking the pieces to just play your system, or are you compromising and adjusting your system to fit the new personnel? You got five new starters on this defense.
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't, what I know about Jonathan Gannon, how he wants to play is that he doesn't want to give up explosive plays. He wants to play a lot of zone. He'll blitz a little. He's not going to blitz a lot. Beyond that, I'm sort of wondering, what are the intricacies of this scheme? How are you making life hard on opposing quarterbacks? And so, yeah, that week 1 really looked like, to me, you don't know exactly how to use all these new pieces that you've gotten. I mean, Hassan Reddick didn't do much at all in that game. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson looked like a player, in fairness to him, who just joined the team right before the season. He did not have a good game. Jordan Davis, I mean, remember, the conversation at draft time was, is this a 3-down player? Is this somebody who's going to have an impact when the other team is passing the football? And the coaches kind of told you what they thought about that right now. Now, they could be wrong. Coaches are wrong all the time. We know that. But third down passing situations. I mean, he wasn't even on the field. He was the 5th defensive tackle when you look at the rotation. So all those questions we had coming into the season, I think are still fair and maybe even more relevant after week 1.
She'll stay on that for a minute. How much of the defensive ineptness, if you will, was scheme-based, preparation-based by Jonathan Gannon and crew versus the players not executing?
I didn't feel like the players were put in positions to succeed. I didn't feel like the defensive coordinator is really giving them an edge. At the same time, there were some individual performances that were not good. I mean, week 1, sloppy tackling when you don't do a lot in camp and don't play in the preseason, I guess that's to be expected. And certainly at the second level, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, James Bradbury, those guys, there were Avonte Maddox. I'll throw him in there. There were some sloppy tackling at the second level. At the same time, I mean, I remember a play in the red zone. I think it was 3rd and 7, and they're playing soft zone coverage. They're rushing with 4. Jared Goff takes the snap. TJ Hawkinson on an out route to the left side. I mean, this is like when, the first practice of the spring, when you're not even going up against the defense. It's too easy. You can't make life this easy on opposing quarterbacks. This was the theme of last year. I mean, every time they got carved up, the other quarterback did not sweat in those games. I mean, they didn't have to go to the cold tub after the game. It was just like, wow, I feel good after this. That's not the feeling you want to give opposing quarterbacks. And there was still quite a bit of that in this game.
Sheil, overall, do you feel good about this Eagles team, or is it still a wait and see with you in terms of what this team is not, can, or cannot be?
I think you feel really good about a couple things. One is, I mentioned the offensive performance. I thought that was really good. You have Jalen Hurts is just in position to succeed. I thought, that throw to A.J. Brown down the right sideline. I mean, that's a great throw. There wasn't a lot of separation there, and that had to be right on target. He made that throw. He made plays with his legs. So with Jalen, sometimes I think people think, it's got to look like Tom Brady or Drew Brees. Like, it's not always going to look like that. I mean, there are different types of quarterbacks. He's going to have to use his legs. He's going to have to scramble. If he's picking up first downs with his legs, if he's not turning the football over, well, the offense still works. And you saw that. And so I was encouraged by that. And then the other thing is, I mean, look at the division. Look at the rest of the conference. Dak Prescott's out for 6 to 8 weeks. That was your biggest competition in the NFC East. And so I went into the season thinking this conference is really ripe for kind of an upset team to, an underdog to get in there and win a lot of games and maybe be a 1 or 2 seed. And I think after week 1, you would say that, hey, it might not happen, but it's certainly still open there for the Eagles to do that.
Sheil, when it comes to Hurts, you just brought it up. Are we too nitpicky? Is it too, the guy's got to look like Justin Herbert back there throwing the ball, where the bottom line is, however it happened, he got it done. And as you mentioned, they throw up a 38 spot. Like, is he a 31 spot? Do they not get is he not getting enough credit for handling a game where, let's face it, as far as blitz pickup, the O-line, which we all agree is really good, didn't do a great job.
That's a great point. I mean, I remember one play specifically watching the film where they had a complete bust where they just left the defensive tackle between Kelsey and Dickerson unblocked. And so 9 out of 10 quarterbacks, that's a sack every time. I mean, the guy's in the quarterback's face before you can snap your fingers. Hurts evades him and runs. And I think he picked up a first down with his legs on that play. So yeah, I think there are 2 different questions, honestly, that Eagles fans are struggling with when it comes to Hurts. It's the one question of, is this the guy for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, like a Donovan, where you're not even talking about quarterback in the offseason? That's one question. And the other question is, like, what can he lead them to this year? I mean, those are 2 separate questions, in my opinion. And so I know it's hard to not look down the line and look at the future and wonder, hey, what's it going to look like next year? I do that all the time. And that one, I'm not going to say after 1 week, oh yeah, Hurts showed it. Look at the progress. He's the guy. Give him $40 million a year. No, I'm not there yet. But I feel like this is a good season, and for Eagles fans to just have kind of that tunnel vision. Focus on 2022, because I think they're going to be fun games. I think they're going to win a lot of games with the pieces around him, some of the progress he already showed in week 1. Like, I think he's going to have a good season. And I think the question is really, does the offense work? Not necessarily, is Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback? And those, again, are 2 separate questions.
Jordan Davis played 22 snaps. And obviously when he was in there, the opposing team's run game was less successful when he was in there. Were you surprised the defensive coaches didn't identify that sooner and got him in there more in the first and second down situations?
So it's funny. In summer, we hear from these coaches and we listen to them in press conferences. But week one, we learn the truth about what they think of their players. I mean, they can't hide it. Who's on the field, who's not on the field. And so what they told us about Jordan Davis is, we don't think he gives us the best chance of rushing the passer. I mean, that's what I learned in week one. They had four. He was not part of those packages when they had, 4 down linemen and, hey, we're rushing the passer. We're in nickel. We're expecting a pass. He wasn't even a part of those packages. So that was telling. You're right about the run defense. Now, to me, it was more about kind of the packages Jordan Davis was in. Don't get me wrong. He had some good snaps. He had some okay snaps. I didn't watch it and think that, oh, wow, this guy dominated. But when Jordan Davis is in there playing nose tackle and they're playing kind of those odd man fronts where they've got 5 players at the line of scrimmage, those fronts are going to stop the run game better. So you could certainly make the argument, hey, they should have played with those fronts more once they're getting gashed by the run. They did not do that. They made stopping the pass a priority. But really, my big question is, like, is this Jordan Davis's role in year one? I mean, because you don't trade up for a guy early in the first round if he is, like you said, playing 21 snaps as a nose tackle. I mean, that just doesn't happen in the NFL in 2022. It's not prioritized as much as other positions. So it's 1 week. Listen, he might get better in week 6. We might be laughing saying, oh my God, remember that ridiculous conversation we had in week 1 and Jordan Davis is looking like a defensive rookie of the year candidate. That's possible, but that at least was on my radar that, hey, this is what the coaches think about his best role as we start the season, at least.
Sheil, how about usage and production, if you will, from Hassan Reddick? It was a very quiet day for him, for sure. Do you feel like he's being put in the best position to succeed?
I didn't see anything too creative. I mean, they used him in different spots. So I don't want to act like, hey, they just lined him up at the edge and asked him to rush the passer. They did try some different things. None of those things were successful. And so you can try different things. If it's not working, this isn't, my daughter's in first grade. You don't get the star as an NFL defensive coordinator for trying different things. I mean, it didn't work. Like, Josh Sweat had the play where he drops back into coverage on the right side. Guess what? That didn't confuse the Lions at all. Jared Goff was back there and no one got to the quarterback. So I think they need to continue to be more creative with Reddick. He's a really unique player. He's an athletic player. I think you need to scheme up some stuff for him, but if you can kind of cut him loose a little bit, man, he can create damage. We saw that the last 2 years in Carolina. And I don't know if everyone knows, but Reddick, I mean, early in his career, he was looked at as a disappointment because the Cardinals didn't know how to use him. I mean, he was an off-ball linebacker. He wasn't rushing the passer. He was asked to kind of do a little too much. So Reddick kind of tells you, in my opinion, about the coaching, about the coordinator, because he's that type of player. The talent is there. The upside's there. In the right scheme with the right coaching, impact player. Not in the right scheme, not with the right coaching, considered a disappointment. So I need to see more about how they use him for sure.
Give me your assessment of Fletcher Cox, please, because I love your perspectives and I'm confused by what Fletcher is or is not. Now, there was a time when he was one of the most dominant interior linemen in the game, but we saw it in stages last year, and even his first game, and again, it's the first game sample. He's not that dominant guy. And I don't know, is it because he's still not comfortable in the scheme, even though he says he is now? But he was basically a no-show except for the one half sack he got by accident.
Yeah, that was a botched snap there, right?
Yeah.
The only time. So I'm with you. I mean, certainly we remember we were covering those teams when Fletcher Cox, dominant defensive lineman, and every week you're watching it going, oh my gosh, this guy just cut him loose and let him go, and disruptive tackles for loss, sacks, even the stuff that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. You're watching every week going, okay, I have no doubt about his impact. I just think it's, I don't think that's going to be there consistently anymore, whether it's scheme related, whether it's just a guy getting older, whether it's wear and tear, whatever. I thought last year there were like possessions at a time, series at a time where you said, okay, there's that, there's the 2017 Fletcher Cox. He showed up here, but for that to show up for a whole game and a whole season, I don't know that's going to happen at this stage in his career. And I would agree with your assessment in week 1. No, he certainly was not an impact player. I think he's, a competent starter. I think he can be a quality starter if you get those games out of him. Is he going to be the guy we talk about right after Aaron Donald when we talk about defensive tackles in the NFL? I would be surprised that maybe it'll happen. I don't like to rule anything out, but I would be surprised if he's kind of getting back to that level.
Shield, they had the Vikings on tap. Vikings took care of business last week against the Packers, pretty handily, right? And some of it was the Packers shooting themselves in the foot, et cetera. But, we know what they bring in terms of Jefferson and explosive offense. How do you see this matchup?
Yeah, they had one of the most impressive wins in week 1. They went up against the Packers, and they had the Packers kind of head spinning on defense. I mean, they were busting coverages left and right. They were using Justin Jefferson in different ways. You look at the balls that Justin Jefferson caught, like these weren't one-on-one contested catches. No. It was wide open. I mean, they schemed it up. And part of that, the Packers can take some blame for that. But if you're a first-time head coach, and that's what I see in week 1, and I'm a Vikings fan, I'm pretty excited about that. So it's just a different culture in Minnesota. Those Zimmer teams, Zimmer had some really good teams, but we knew how they wanted to play. Defense, don't turn the ball over. He didn't like the quarterback. There was always kind of that tension. And now they have an offensive coach who, I don't know if Doug Peterson's like a great comparison, but that's kind of the guy they're hoping for. Someone who's connecting with players, who's managing the game well, who can do things offensively to put the players in position to succeed. And so you certainly saw that in week 1. And I don't think they're the deepest team. Like if you face this Vikings team in week 13 or 14, they're probably going to look different. But if you just look at their starters defensively also, like they've got a bunch of talented players where it's a really tough matchup in week 1.
I've said Minnesota has probably one of the best trio of linebackers in the game right now when you talk about Jordan Hicks, Eric Kendricks, and Zadarius Smith. And I'm interested in seeing if Minnesota tries to deploy their linebackers the way Detroit did. Bear seems to think that Minnesota won't try to blitz as much as Minnesota did. But if I'm a coach looking at what worked well in week 1, I've got to try to duplicate some of that stuff until the offense backs me out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you, first of all, on those players. I mean, I would even just say, they're usually a nickel, but that front 6, the 4 pass rushers and the 2 linebackers, put that up with pretty much anyone in the NFL. I mean, Zadarius Smith has been injured, but when he plays, one of the most disruptive defensive players in the NFL. Danielle Hunter, the other edge rusher, he's been injured, but when he's healthy, this is a 14, 15 sack a year guy. Eric Kendricks may be the most underrated off-ball linebacker in the NFL. We all know Jordan Hicks is a good player when he's healthy. So even their defense, they've got 2 veteran defensive tackles. Like it's a smart group up front. So how they're going to play, I think the one difference we'll certainly see, Lions came out and said, we're going to play a lot of man coverage the entire game. And so when you play man coverage, the defensive backs have their back to the line of scrimmage, and Jalen Hurts can take off and pick up all those yards with scrambles. I don't think the Vikings are going to play like that. They don't have the corners. And also I think they're going to say, we want eyes on Jalen Hurts after what we saw last game. So they do a lot of stuff up front where it's not necessarily these all-out Jim Johnson blitzes, but it's like, we have 7 guys there. Do you know which 4 we're rushing the passer with? And if you don't, we're just going to get a free rusher that way. We're still going to have enough players in coverage, and we're going to pressure you. So those are some of the things I would expect them to do. I think Kendricks is an interesting player. It's hard to spy Hurts because a lot of linebackers can't keep up with him, but Kendricks is, as we said, is a really good player. Right. He's athletic. He's smart. He might be the kind of guy they say, okay, just if they're call a passing play, just keep your eyes on the quarterback and don't let him hurt us with his legs.
Shield, we saw Jalen take off 17 times. Now, a lot of that was just out of necessity, man. It was survival of the fittest. Ideally for you, like what's a good number for you in terms of rushing attempts for him to be able to sustain this over, the full course of the season?
Yeah, I almost look at it as like, how many bad hits did he take? Because he is really good about getting out of bounds or sliding. Now, even when he slides sometimes, as we saw last week, the defense is frustrated, you still might get a shot to the head. And so that counts. I think he needs to be a part of the run game just for the offense to be at its peak. I mean, you can't be, if I'm the coaching staff, and I'm pretty sure they're not saying, all right, we need this guy to be healthy 5 years from now. Like, yes, you want him to be healthy, but you're also looking at the version of your offense that is the hardest to defend, that is the best. And it just includes Jalen Hurts being a runner, both with the designed runs, the option runs, the scrambles, all those things. So I would agree that 17 is too many. It would be on my mind if I were Sirianni. I mean, probably, I don't know, that eight to
10-ish?
10 range,
Yeah.
is probably more manageable. But if you've got a big lead in the fourth quarter, you better not be calling those runs, or you better say, hey, I know it's an option run, but just hand that ball off.
Yep.
We don't need you taking a hit. So absolutely, you definitely need to be smart of it. That 17 a game, I mean, we've just seen it in the NFL, except for Lamar Jackson during the MVP season. That's just not going to be a sustainable number, most likely.
Hey, Shield, give me 2 or 3 matchups that you're going to be watching closely Monday night.
2 or 3 matchups. Let me. Justin Jefferson against all 11 is.
No. You better put all 11 on him, Shield.
He put on 11.
It's probably the first one, but that's the big one. How are you going to defend this guy? You can't have what happened last week happen again. Do you do you play man coverage but have a safety over the top of Justin Jefferson? So you can say to Darius Slay or Bradbury, hey, be aggressive, get after him. Let's not just let him run free. Don't worry. We're going to have a safety over the top. I mean, they need to have some type of strategy. I don't think it's going to be one guy, and Eagles have typically not been a big man coverage team. So if they're just saying, hey, don't let Jefferson get over the top, I guess this would be a week where that is going to be a pretty smart strategy. So that's definitely number one. And then the other one would be sort of the interior. This is really getting into the weeds here, but the center and the right guard on Minnesota. I mean, they've got a rookie starting at right guard, and their center is probably might be their worst offensive lineman. And so we just talked about Fletcher Cox. We talked about Jordan Davis. I'll throw Javon Hargrave in there. I didn't think he looked great in week 1. And so I think that interior pressure against those interior linemen is going to be really important in this game, because when Kirk Cousins has time, he can make a lot of throws. I mean, when he gets comfortable, when they're running those bootlegs and he's got space and doesn't feel pressure, he can put up big numbers. We saw that when he was in Washington when they would face the Eagles. But we also know when he's pressured, he will crumble a little bit. He'll make some mistakes. He'll give you those turnovers. So I think that interior pressure is going to be pretty important.
Shield, give thumbnail sketch here with the NFC East. You brought it up a little bit earlier, but the Cowboys lose Prescott. They didn't play well before he went down either in that game at home. It feels like that's kind of teetering, man. Could really go into the abyss. What are your thoughts on the Cowboys right now?
Worst case scenario for the Cowboys for a few different reasons. Because one, if Prescott had a season-ending injury, well, now you can say, all right, do we trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? Do we make a move? Let's see what we can do here. Or you just stink and you probably get a top 3 pick. But Prescott's going to be out, 6 to 8 weeks. So he's going to come back. So you're not going to trade for a Garoppolo. You're probably not going to have a top 3 or 5 pick. And if you're a Cowboys fan, guess who has an excuse now to still be the coach in 2023?
Oh, man.
Mike McCarthy.
I
mean, listen, Mike McCarthy is a salesman. I mean, we've seen it. He talked himself into that job in the first place. And now if Jerry Jones was thinking this is a make or break year, now McCarthy kind of has a built-in excuse for me. So you're not going to fire me. I didn't have Dak Prescott for 8 weeks here. And I know Jerry Jones gets thought of as this impulsive owner. Jason Garrett lasted 9.5 years in Dallas. I mean, if Jones personality-wise likes the coach, he kind of gives them the benefit of the doubt. And so, I think this year's not going to be good for the Cowboys. I don't know what their answers are going to be. They just don't have a lot of you look at Cooper Rush, their backup. He's surrounded by, as you mentioned, Rob, they didn't play well when they had Dak Prescott. Now they don't have a left tackle. They don't have another offensive lineman. Their wide receiving core is not that good. I think it's going to get bad for Dallas for sure.
Hey, what do you make of Minnesota's coach declining to talk to the Philadelphia media? I mean, there's an unwritten courtesy that's involved here every week. I'm a little, especially week number
it's
2.
Weird.
Why would you not? Yeah. Why would you not talk to the media? You talk to everybody else. Well, not everybody, but you talk to Green Bay's media. Why would you not talk to Philadelphia's?
Oh, see, I didn't know that. He talked to Green Bay's media.
Today he declined.
He declined
to speak to the Philadelphia media. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, I didn't, because some coaches are just like, I don't want to do that or need to do that.
Can they get fined?
I think for this, I think now they might. I think they have the option now with the opposing coaches back, 3-4 years ago. And I could be wrong about that. I think at that time it was, no, you have to do this. It's part of your media obligations. But I think in recent years, there are more and more coaches saying, I don't need to do that. I'm not going to do that. One more thing off their plate. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that he talked in the first week and declined to talk in the second week. So I was at his, media availability in the spring when they had those owners meetings, and he seems like a friendly guy who probably has good relationships with the media, but maybe he's thinking, man, everyone's gassing us up this week. I don't want to. And listen, when you go outside of Philadelphia and people ask you about the Philadelphia media, I mean, they just start thinking, oh man, they're vultures, stay away. You don't want to be a part of that. So there could have been a fear there where I don't want to just slip up and say something wrong, and then all of a sudden I'm screwing my team over this week. It's probably silly. I mean, you should trust yourself and give him 10 minutes. I agree with you, but maybe that's what he was thinking. I don't know.
I love vultures. I'm going to start using vultures more. Sheil, last one for me. There was a lot made. Gannon sort of dropped yesterday that, Howie Roseman is kind of in on the decision making with personnel, and now today there's the concerted effort from Nick and others just saying like it's not a big deal. Like he needs to know just so he can get the roster straightened out, who's inactive, and all that kind of thing. Is that us making too much? Media, whomever, fans making too much of something? Is it not that big a deal? Howie's role as far as game day goes?
Well, every organization is different. I mean, it's certainly not the standard on all 32 teams where the GM has that control. It is his job here. He does have that responsibility. He does have that role to do it. And so I don't think it's a big deal because of what Gannon said. At the same time, we know what happens when things go south. I mean, if they go 4-13, is it a big deal? Yeah, it's probably right. The coach. They're probably gonna have coaches saying, "Well, I wanted this guy as the backup, and look, our guy got injured, and Howie chose this guy to be active on game day because I mean, that stuff always comes out when things are going poorly. So I think this coaching staff, like this, isn't a veteran coaching staff where these guys have been in the league and been head coaches before, been coordinators before, where they're gonna come down, put their foot down. When things go badly, it's something I think though to file away and say, all right, that, or when there's a game where you say, wait, why wasn't this guy active? And the coach, they might drop those little breadcrumbs in their press conferences and say, yeah, I would have loved to have, this guy available to me, but he wasn't. We all know how those things work. So, something to file away, not a big deal right now, but also not like new news. I mean, we know how the organization is built, and how he does have that role and that control.
Is Washington a team to keep an eye on? I mean, people keep saying, it's Kurt, it's Carson Wentz, but Johan Dotson down there, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson. Should we keep one eye loosely on Washington?
Maybe loosely. If you don't want to shut it all the way, that's okay. Yeah. I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it wide open. You watch that game. I mean, it was the full Carson Wentz experience. Fourth quarter, back-to-back plays, interceptions. Then he comes back and makes, to his credit, 2 great throws, 4 touchdowns. He does have some nice pieces around him. I'm with you there. The wide receivers are good. I'm not sure about the offensive line, and I'm not sure how sustainable it's going to be. So just given the state of the division, state of the NFC, if they stay in the mix for a while, that wouldn't surprise me. But if the Eagles are healthy and Washington beat them for the division, that would surprise me. I think the Eagles just have a lot more talent.
Yeah, all right, you got to piggyback then. Last one, Giants. Dable certainly showing some guts here, and he goes for 2. They get it, but I mean, more than anything else, Saquon Barkley really looked back. Like we haven't seen that guy in a couple years, Sheil. So are they? We all sort of just wrote them off, and it's going to take a while for Dable to fix that. Might that be sort of an annoyance kind of team in the NFC East?
Well, Barkley is fun. I'm just glad to see him healthy.
Yeah.
He's one of those players I came into the season going, is he ever going to look like he did during his rookie season? And so you hate to see guys whose careers just get ruined by injuries before they're even, on a second contract. And so to see that guy last week, I mean, he saved them. Their offense was doing nothing. I think 4 punts and a fumble, and then he breaks off a 68-yard run, and it totally changes the complexion of the game. So, I don't think they're great. They're sort of like the much lesser version of the Vikings. And when I say that, I mean, they have no depth on that roster. I mean, if they have 1 or 2 guys go down, it could get ugly in a hurry. That win was not all that impressive. At the same time, they're not as much of a pushover maybe as they were during the Joe Judge era, where you just went into it and they're kind of laughing stock of the NFL. So I think they'll be a little more competent, a little bit more respectable. I still think though, talent wise, they're probably like a year away from being a really frisky team that could kind of get into the playoffs.
All right, Sheil. Listen, man, always fun talking to you.
Appreciate it, man.
Suggest everybody check you out on the Ringer. It's the Ringer's Philly special. I know you and Benjamin breaking it down and what went down in the game and kind of digging in around the league as well. Check out Sheil on Twitter at Sheil Kapadia. Sheil, thanks, man. Appreciate a couple minutes of your time.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
Take care. That's Sheil Kapadia. He's great, man. He's got a real sense for the league, for the Eagles. I mean, you name it. Sheil is excellent at what he does. All right, well, let's pick it back up, Gunner. Let's stay with the NFL stuff here for a minute. And why don't you run through your top 10 offensive players of the week this past week? Why don't we do
you want to do it now?
Yeah, okay. Let's do it now, man. What the heck?
Now, again, let me preface it by saying I didn't put them in any chronological order. I just went through the entire first week and said, okay, I like this, this, and this. Now, my number 10, as I told you, is one you're going to go, what?
Okay.
But I did it on purpose because kickers get no love in the NFL.
Okay.
You know, they're worse than quarterbacks. They get blamed for missing, and they're carried off on shoulders. But the kid, Cade York from Cleveland, 4 for 4. He was instrumental in the Browns winning that game. 4 for 4, hit one of 58 yards.
Wow.
So I'm giving the kicker some love.
LSU,
because,
I believe.
Yeah,
LSU kid.
So I'm giving the kicker some love because they don't get love in the NFL.
Look at you, man.
Right,
okay.
So you want me to go through the other 9 or just the other four?
Run your whole list. Yeah.
So I hit Justin Jefferson. Obviously, the man's running all over the field, wide open. You know, he 9 catches, $184, 20.4 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift, I got to give him some love. That dude only had 15 carries, but he had $144, almost averaged 10 yards a carry. I know he ripped off a 50-yard. Yeah, he ripped off a 50-yarder, but he did it. I got Miles Sanders. I got to put him in there. He only had 13 carries, but Miles averaged 7.6 yards a carry. Miles is running with a purpose. You know, we've talked about this extensively this week. Miles got that proverbial chip on his shoulder, and he's running with a purpose right now. And I like what I saw from Miles, but I keep saying, please don't go down. Don't go down. Just stay up there. He's not running out of bounds. He's taking on contact. He's turning the legs, trying to get extra yards. So I put Miles in there. Carson Wentz. I know everybody in this region hates Carson Wentz, but he did throw 2 touchdown passes, through a couple, as Sheil said, threw a couple beautiful balls for touchdowns.
Yeah, the one Dotson touchdown.
Oh my goodness, you know, he threw 4 touchdown picks in his first game with the Washington Commanders. Everybody's looking to see if he has it. He showed that he has. He brought him back. That was only Jacksonville, yes, but he still brought him back to win that game. Jonathan Taylor, 31 carries, $161, defending rushing champ. I keep saying you're going to overuse this guy. He's not Derrick Henry size. He's a good stout back, but he's not Derrick Henry size. He's got 31 carries out of the gate.
They're going to grind him up.
They're going to grind him, man.
You watch what that's going to look like in his late 20s, man. It's not going to be good. I love him, but he's a stud. For sure. He
may not be in the league in his late 20s at this point. He had well over 300 carries last year. You can't keep doing this to this kid, man.
Yeah.
I brought Patrick Mahomes, 30 out of 39. Are you kidding me? 5 touchdown passes, 360 yards. The man is Houdini on 2 legs. Everything we think about conventional quarterbacks, he goes against that grain in terms of mechanics, throwing motion, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, because in his case, what you shouldn't do works for him.
It does.
So it's unbelievable.
Well, it's such a great combo of 2 unbelievable offensive minds with Bieniemy and Reed, coupled with his talent. I mean, it's deadly. It's a deadly combination.
And the thing is, Rob, we've watched it for how many years now, and nobody can stop it.
No,
nobody can stop it. And it's not just the Tyreek show. As you see how he spreads the wealth, you can't stop it. You just can't. And that's why I cannot wait to see him go up against this Chargers defense tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be
you
fun,
got Bosa on one side, Khalil Mack on the other, who said 3 sacks was not good enough. Like, how many do you expect to get in the game? Some people won't get 3 sacks in the season.
I worry about the Chargers a little bit tonight without Keenan Allen, man. And that is concerning, that one for sure.
But Kansas City's defense is not the Chargers' defense.
Yeah, the offense is the strength for sure. Yeah.
Saquon's back. You just talked about it. Saquon appears to be back. He's running with authority. He's got that second gear back again. This dude had 18 carries. He averaged over 9 yards a carry. Had a touchdown. And the way he broke that tackle on the 2-point conversion, and like I said earlier in the week,
I watched that last night. It was on again last night. I watched it. Yeah, that last drive.
It reminded me of what Malcolm Jenkins says. You can't wrap up this guy. When he gets a head of steam, you can't get your arms around his legs. His thighs are so big.
Yep.
You know, so it looks like Saquon is back. A.J. Brown, no, I did not forget about A.J. Brown. What a debut that man put on in his first game as a Philadelphia Eagle. And I still have visions of him catching that pass inside the red zone and driving a would-be tackler another 7-8 yards until he got inside the 5-yard line. I'm thinking, this is a sample of what's to come with this guy. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And the last guy, I hate to put him on here because he no longer wears the green and gold. But Devontae Adams had a great debut for the Raiders, 10 catches, $141. So those are my top 10.
Great top 10. Great top 10. Yeah, and again, I did the same thing you did. I don't necessarily – it's not necessarily in order. But I went Cooper Kupp 10. 13 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown is nothing to sneeze at. Like, they had a terrible night as a team.
Yes.
He still showed up. He needs some help. They got to get Allen Robinson involved. There's a lot of other things that need to happen. They got to commit somewhat to the running game, which they totally got away from. So
he's on pace to catch another 145 balls this year.
Yeah, he's become just machine-like. I mean, that's kind of what it is there. I have DeAndre Swift, number 9. You mentioned 15 rushes. You know, they ran the ball well in general. He averaged 9.6 yards per carry. He was a home run hitter. He's really good. The thing with him is he's just got to be able to stay healthy. Like, he's banged up coming off that game with an ankle.
Yep.
And he didn't practice again today. And that's been the issue with him in his young career. Just if he can just stay on the field. I think they have to almost feature like a two-headed attack where he's not. I think he needs to be like a 9-10 carry guy. Catch a couple out of the backfield.
Yeah, I wonder too, Rob, if it's more of a maintenance day for him, because I want to know what point in the game did he hurt his ankle? Because at no point in the game did he look like he was favoring any ankle in that Eagles game.
Yeah, you're right. It didn't look
when did he hurt this ankle?
Yeah, that's a good question. All right, I go with the DeAndre Adams or Devontae Adams, excuse me, at number 8. Everything you mentioned, it's kind of similar. Like, the Raiders game, they didn't play well. They lose to the Chargers, and you sort of forget about it. But, you know, the chemistry, he picked right up with Derek Carr, who was his college quarterback. 10 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. The guy's a great player. He's just a great player, period.
Oh, my goodness.
You know? I went with AJ next. Again, 10 catches, 155 yards, 15 yards per catch. Jonathan Taylor, you're right there. I mean, I'm sorry, this day and age, 31 rushes. It's too much. 21, you're pushing it. 31?
I'm going to look him up real quick because I've watched him, I watched him extensively when he played at Wisconsin. Phenomenal college running back. I knew he was going to have a good measure of success in the pros. I didn't think he would elevate to that point. And I'm looking at according to this roster, you know how they fluctuate numbers and stuff like that. But they have him listed at 5'10", 225. Okay, that's a good size for a running back of that height stature. But still, you're going to run this guy 30 times a game over a 17-game season?
Yeah, to me, you cut that down 10. You can't be doing that to that guy.
I mean,
he's great, though. He's so consistent. He really is. I put Lamar Jackson in there. And the numbers aren't going to blow you away. 213 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Keep in mind, this game was – the Jets were never really in it. I think he could have done more. What was interesting to me about his game, and I don't know, Derek, if this is going to be what we see going forward, maybe because of the contract a little bit, but he only rushed 6 times. He only took off 6 times. That's not exactly Lamar Jackson-esque.
No.
Now, is this them trying to preserve him, or is this him saying, I'm not putting myself in harm's way, man. You don't want to give me a contract or whatever, you know? Keep your eye on that one. I go with Justin Herbert. He had 279 passing yards, which isn't like, mind-blowing, but he was in command. He had 3 touchdowns. He had a 129.4 passer rating. He had a beautiful back shoulder touchdown, a couple of really nice touchdowns. He's just so talented. He's a crazy, crazy talent. 3, I do put Barkley in there. And as much as I kind of agree with Sheil, as much as I never root for a giant, I'm happy for this guy that he didn't turn into just a what could have been. I like to see guys get to their, at least somewhat what they can do. And I'm telling you, man, I watched the game again last night. They look rejuvenated. They look like the Walking Dead under Joe Judge. Dable's got some juice there. Like there's something there with them.
How did you watch all these games last night?
Last night I watched when the Phillies ended. I flip over to the NFL Network, and That's what I watched before I fell asleep. I watched the second half of the Giants and the Titans. I don't know, just flipping around. So watch that, and then of course, Justin Jefferson 9. Yeah, he just goes nuts. I mean, I don't know how the guy keeps doing it. It's remarkable, actually.
What did he say? He's going to be the best receiver in the game this season.
Yep, and
off to a good start.
Tell me who's better. All right, that's there's a lot of great receivers, but he's the best. I go Mahomes number 1, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. He's a surgeon. It doesn't matter who it is. He made 2 throws to Kelsey that were just insane. I mean, 2 that were just perfection. That he just drops right in the bucket, which is no surprise considering who it is. But I would go with him as well. I'm going to be interested to see if he's able to do that this week against this Chargers defense. Yep. This is going to, I mean, tonight, not this week, but they are just, that's a really good defense.
Is Derwin James playing tonight? Or is he still up?
I think that's still up in the air, right? I think.
Let me see how they have them.
I didn't look at the injury report for that game yet. I saw Keenan Allen the other day. That's the only thing it was already out. And see a ton else. Hey, speaking of that, Jamal Adams will have season-ending surgery to repair his torn quad tendon. So he's done. He's done for the year. Oh, and the Steelers put TJ Watt on the IR, which means he's going to miss at least 6 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, so maybe there was some talk. Oh, he might miss 1 game. I think they're trying to be smart about this, which is probably the right way to go. Let that thing heal.
I don't care whether you root for a team or not. I just hate seeing elite players not out there on the field. I mean, it's a part of the game. Players are going to go down. I just hate not seeing elite players out there, man, because it gives you something else to talk about and something else to watch. When you see great players like that fall by the wayside, man, it just takes something out of me, man. Even though I don't root for the Steelers, I don't root for these other teams that are losing players, but Jamal Adams is a great safety. Plays the position the way it should be, flies around the field, good tackler, good cover guy.
Yeah.
You hate to see those guys go down like that and lose a season, man.
I know. You hate to see it anytime, but especially so early, before the season even barely gets started, these guys are out. So it's tough to watch for sure. Yeah. I'm never a root for injuries, even against the teams I can't stand. That's just, to me, that's bad karma. All right. So we will come back, Derek. We'll mix in some Phillies. They win again last night, on pace for 91 wins. 91 wins this season. Really starting to put themselves in a good position to, from a playoff perspective, where you may not have to sweat this too much. So we'll talk about them. We'll go do our NFL talk, Derek. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of jump around a little bit. What we're going to do each and every Thursday, we'll do our NFC East watch. So we're going to look at how each of the 3 teams, the Cowboys, Washington, and the Giants, will go inside the numbers a little bit. We'll do that. We've got plenty of other stuff to get to when we get back. Don't go anywhere. Be back around 2, somewhere around that area. All right, so we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Thursday. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, don't go anywhere. We got you. We're coming right back. All right, so let me talk to you about Razor Technology and data estate. Data is everywhere in business today, but when it's locked away in silos, it can't be efficiently used, and businesses don't have time to wait for the insights that shape decision-making. Razor Technology's data management not only integrates data from wherever it's generated or collected, but provides a uniform structure for storing, interpreting, and distributing it to decision makers. Razor helps businesses transform and model their data, use it to populate real-time dashboards, and create shareable reports that highlight areas of progress, as well as warning signs in need of attention. Smart data and analytics and tools make data insights easily digestible, help businesses of all sizes and types discover where they could be untapping significant savings. Razor Technology can help you break down your silos and fully realize the value of your data to drive growth for your business. To learn more, contact Razor Tech today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online, razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's the #1 news at 10 p.m. Action News on PHL 17. Join Shari Williams, Gray Hall, Deuces Rogers, and meteorologist Adam Joseph for all the big stories at a time that's right for you. Action News at 10 p.m. on PHL 17.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Back, everybody. You thought it was going to be me just split in half, Derek. I was going to go point counterpoint just with myself. Hi, you're muted. There you go.
You got to do what I do, talk in the second and third person.
Rob Ellis says this.
Yeah, see, sometimes you have
some
of the best conversations you ever have in life are with yourself. Remember that.
Point. Yeah, some of it best and worst, right? Yeah, exactly. I
won't say worst because I've had some very entertaining conversations with myself. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, so let's jump around a little bit here and hit some Phillies here, Derek, because they win again last night. 5 straight wins. They won 7 of their last 8. Mentioned before, took a timeout. They're on pace to win 91 games, which is when you consider where they were. I'll just give you an example. They're 58-33 under Rob Thompson. Just to put it in perspective, they're 25 games over 500 under Thompson. They've played, and they've done that in large part, missing significant time by Bryce Harper, missing significant time by Gene Segura. Now it's starting to add up here with Zach Wheeler. You're talking like 3 weeks-ish, somewhere around there. They lost Eflin, who just came back last night in June.
Pitched a perfect inning last night.
Yeah, I mean, they've overcome Sir Anthony missed time, their closer. They've overcome real injuries here, and still somehow, some way, been able to right the ship even when they had little hiccups here and there, the West Coast swing or whatever. They bounced back really nicely, and I know they're beating bad teams. I don't care. They're beating pretty good pitching in the first 2 games against the Marlins. The Phillies deserve a lot of credit for the year that they've had, man.
Yeah, and you know what? And the baseball gods favor them because over the last several weeks they've been playing the weak sisters of the National League, but that's okay. Yeah. And as I said, since the beginning of July, when they were playing a much tougher part of the schedule, all you got to do is hold on. If they can just hold on until they get reinforcements back, they're going to be in good shape. Segura comes back, and now they're starting to get some of the pitching back. Eflin finally came back. They're gradually getting him back into flow. He pitches a perfect inning last night. Bryce Harper back, in the swing of things. Schwarber cooled off significantly for a while. but that's okay because you had the back end of that lineup picking them up. Maton, Verling, all these guys, Stott, have been picking them up. So everything that you could possibly want for them to be in the position that they're in right now has happened for this team, despite the multitude of roadblocks that they've had to endure since July.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been really impressive. And there have been players, young players who have stepped up along the way, others and whatnot. But I'll tell you, in terms of MVPs in the National League in the second half of the season,
right,
find me somebody who's been a better all-around player than JT Realmuto. I mean,
agree.
in terms of the plate and what he's done behind the plate. You know, it's 2 home runs again last night, Derek.
Against his former team.
Against his former team. He's throwing out runners at a 42% clip, which is crazy high. On the base paths himself, this is a catcher, mind you. 17 for 17 in steal attempts. Okay.
A catcher.
He's on pace to easily be a 20-20 in terms of steals and home runs. There's only one other guy who's done that, and that's Pudge Rodriguez. I mean, he has been awesome.
He's been everything you wanted defensively and offensively. You know, his home run numbers are not what we may have thought, but he's making consistent contact. He's driving the ball. You know, what else do you want from your catcher? You know, he's basically he's almost like having a second manager on the field.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways, in terms of how he calms the pitchers down. You know, he calls great games. They've been getting some great games from pitching that you didn't expect. They've had some inconsistencies in pitching, but you know, I love everything about him. I don't know if there's another catcher in the National League right now I would want behind the plate for me other than JT.
And he catches every day. I don't know if that's necessarily a great thing. I mean, I hope he can hold up. But his durability is amazing as well. I mean, those guys take a beating every game back there, man. Every single game.
His knees, man. You imagine what his knees might be like when he's 37, 38.
I know.
To catch as many games as he's catching in a season.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man. I mean, and I know a lot of these catchers go down where they go down on the one leg stand and they extend the other leg, which amazes me because I don't know how you can get up that quickly and still fire it down to second base.
Yep.
You know, but that's been perfected over the last 7-8 years in particular. More catchers are doing that now. I can't. I have nothing. I just love having JT back there, man, because of what he brings.
He's fun to watch. So they dodged a bullet last night. Hoskins, how many times has a Philly hitter been hit in the hand this year, man? Too many times. So he dodges a bullet. He got hit. The X-ray was negative. He did come out of the game. He was in pain. But Rob Thompson said last night after the game, he'll probably miss tonight because he's going to be sore, but it's not a big deal. So that's good. You mentioned Eflin. Pitches for the first time since June 25th. He comes in there last night in the 9th, had a clean 9th, good velocity. I think he got up to like 94, whatever it was. And he looked good. He's going to be an interesting piece to have. You could use him if you want to rest one of your starters, give him an extra day's rest down the stretch. You could plug him in. He could be what they call an opener where he's going to pitch 2 or 3 innings to start a game, or you may use him out of the bullpen, but that's another live arm that you got now, almost like a trade deadline deal.
I was just going to say, I wonder when or if they would try to get him back into that starting rotation, because I think as we look at it right now, especially when Wheeler gets back, I don't think you have to rush him back in the starting rotation. I agree with you 100%. You can spot pitch him in a lot of places. Whether you start him an inning or two, he's your second reliever out of the bullpen. You can bring him in on the back end. It just makes that pitching staff that much stronger. And Rob, as we know, because we've talked about this too much over the past month, that pitching staff has been up and down. And with him back in there, I think it stabilizes their pitching staff a little bit more.
Yeah. And look, the other thing is, just speaking of getting bodies here, Wheeler's going to throw another bullpen tomorrow.
Yep.
And he could be back by Tuesday. So you're going to be pretty healthy, barring any knocking on wood setbacks here.
And especially when you consider who they're about to face coming up.
Yeah.
After the Marlins. So you're gonna need a full arsenal against Atlanta, Toronto,
and Atlanta again.
And then again, I can't say this enough. I just hope that Houston doesn't need that 3-game series at the end of the season, and that could cause something to happen with the Phillies. I mean, right now they control that number 2 playoffs wild card spot, but they keep going back and forth with the Chargers. the Padres.
Yeah.
Just when you start to say the Phillies are in control of their spot, Padres all of a sudden are back even with them again. They flip-flop spots by a half game. The Brewers, as inconsistent as the Brewers are, they're still lurking around 2.5 games out of their wild card spot. So you just want to make sure that there's no fluke here at the end of the season.
Yeah, you're right. So right now the Phillies are in second place. They're in the wild card. They're 2.5 up on the Padres. Padres hold the third spot. The Brewers are 2 behind the Padres. So that's the way this looks. You know, the Phillies have won 7 of 10. San Diego's lost 6 of 10, and the Brewers have lost 6 of 10. So the Phillies are playing the best baseball of that grouping of those 3. If it ended right now, they would play the Braves. That's the way it would work. And the Eagles, gee, I'm doing the same. We're crossing sports, man. Oh my God.
I just said the Chargers.
I know. They have played them basically to a standstill as of right now. You're going to get Atlanta a bunch more times now. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, that's the way it is. Now, the one thing is Atlanta's gotten a lot better than what they were earlier in the year. They're amazing. They're amazing at drafting and cultivating and growing their guys
for the last 20 plus years.
It's crazy.
Yes,
it really is.
But you know what? Atlanta doesn't fear me as much because the Phillies have played them so evenly.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of the season. And it's like, every time we've talked about, the Phillies about to face Alcantara, and you look at the numbers, they have 17, 20 runs scored against him. The Phillies are the team that kills him whenever he plays them.
Derek, you're dead on. And I think that's a really, we know the Marlins aren't making the playoffs, but they feel good against aces. Like they feel they're not, I mean, look, the Mets, I don't know what's going on with, they just have a mental block with the Mets. I'm talking about when they're playing everybody else, like the Dodgers, the Padres, the Braves. They've done well against their top pitching.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
In a short playoff series, what would it be? 3-game series?
Yeah.
Whether it's here or down there, I don't care. I feel pretty good. They're not afraid of the Braves down there. They've played them well down there.
I think if you're a Phillies fan, you're hoping things kind of stay this way in the sense that you want the Mets to win the division and you'd rather play Atlanta. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. It's not. Okay? You're talking about the defending champs, but I would rather play the Braves any day of the week.
I don't want to play the Mets. I don't know what it is. You're right. You couldn't have said it better. I don't know what it is about the Mets that they have over the Phillies right now, but the Phillies have trouble with that team. And right now, the Mets only have a half-game lead on the Braves, so that thing can go either way. Braves are 6-4 in the last 10. Mets 4-6. When we all thought earlier the Mets were going to run away with the division. The defending World Series champions said, this ain't over yet.
Right. So, no. And they're it looks like for the Mets, Scherzer's close. So that's another feather in their cap as they go forward here.
But he has not been the dominant pitcher this year. And I'm assuming it's because of injuries. He's had good outings, but he has not been that consistent dominant pitcher that we are accustomed to seeing.
I wonder if the mileage is starting to catch up to him a little bit.
Could be.
This guy's thrown a lot of innings, man. I just wonder if that's not a little bit of a piece of this thing. So we'll see.
The only one I'm worried about is DeGrom. That's the only one. Jeez.
I hear you. I think everybody's worried about that. All right, so we come back, Derek. One of the things we'll get into is the game tonight. It's a great game. It's the Chiefs and the Chargers, right? But it's on Prime. It's on Amazon Prime, and that's a challenge for some folks, and that's an issue, and not everybody has it, and some older folks aren't as familiar with technology, et cetera. We'll get into that whole discussion. Like I said, we're going to do our NFC East watch, so we'll kind of jump around. We'll update you on anything else that's going on in the NFL. Continue the Eagles discussion. Also, don't go anywhere. Barrett will be back as well. He's Derek Gunn. I'm Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, it's time to let you know about Flynn Tree Services, because Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So if you have any type of issues meaning maybe an older tree, some branches are a little bit loose, if it gets really windy, we get a bad storm or whatever, those things could come off. They could go into your property, your house, a fence, God forbid, hit somebody, your neighbor, whatever the case may be. You want to get that straightened out. You want to get it looked at. All right. So it's just a quick phone call away. They're experts at trimming all types of trees, and they work all over the southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware regions. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. And look, on top of just making sure you get your trees checked out, it's hurricane season. So you can get an evaluation done now to make sure everything's okay. You go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's the #1 news at 10 p.m. Action News on PHL 17. Join Shari Williams, Gray Hall, Deuces Rogers, and meteorologist Adam Joseph for all the big stories at a time that's right for you. Action News at 10 p.m. on PHL 17.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Herbert!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Herbert!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Up, and go Birds.
Along with Derek and Rob Ellis. Good intel, Barrett. You all prepared for your game this weekend?
All prepared.
Man?
All prepared.
Temple Rutgers. Yeah.
I don't know about your Temple Owls, man. We'll see. They'll be a lot better than what people think.
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers.
Muted, Derek.
Rutgers looks good, man. Rutgers looks good.
I think it's gonna be a tough game for Temple.
Well, you know what? But see, Rutgers looks good. Rutgers has athletes. They just haven't used them all the way effectively yet. I think they're just learning who they are. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the defense of the Eagles. They could come out, man, like E.J. Warner, Kurt Warner's son. He can hose it. He can throw it around.
Yeah.
And all he needs is one person to, let be in his corner like he's good enough, and he can make things really tough on his Rutgers defense. Boston College really didn't give Rutgers a run for the money. We know that Warner didn't. So this could be a true test for both teams. True test. Their defense is pretty. Rutgers defense. No, I'll say this. Temple's defense has some players that can play. They can mix it up a little bit. So it'll be a little closer than what you think.
Right, there you go, Barrett. Give us some encouragement. There you go. That's what I like to hear. Give him hope. Don't kill his hope on Thursday.
I don't. So
you say there's a chance on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know. Homecoming. It's an early homecoming too.
How about this though? Rutgers is having a little get together, across the street for their fans at Live.
Oh, at Live. Oh,
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hope it's a long ride back to Piscataway for the folks. We'll see. All right, so a couple things. One, the game, as I mentioned tonight, is on Amazon Prime. It's the first time for a regular season game that it'll be Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit and that crew. But this is kind of where things are going here with sports, the NFL in particular, but sports in general, to streaming and that kind of stuff. But we know that can also present a little bit of a challenge for some people who either don't have it, maybe can't afford it, aren't familiar with how to maneuver their way around, that kind of thing. I wonder, as great a game as it is, and it's Thursday night football and it's a big time production and all that, how you think the numbers are going to be right where they normally would be? What's up?
No, man, I got to tell you guys a story, man, about yesterday. I got off work yesterday, and the guy at the my studios are at the Wells Fargo Center,
right?
NBC Sports Studios there. So I'm leaving out, and the guy that's there, Mike's like, hey, I heard the game is on Amazon. I'm like, yeah, it's on Amazon. Amazon? That's where you buy stuff at. I know you can watch TV. That's where you buy stuff. So I mean, that's just
Mike's an older gentleman.
Yeah, so that's how a lot of people are. There's gonna be a lot of people that just don't know how to get there, or not subscribed to it. They don't have Amazon Prime accounts. I mean, this is something that I think they're gonna have to work through to get where they need to go.
I wonder about that, and I wonder, is that going to be a challenge for sports bars too, that maybe don't have the technology, the hookup?
They'll find a way.
Yeah.
In fact, well, I'm going to watch with you tonight, right?
Yeah, it's Screwballs, man. King of Prussia.
There you go.
Okay,
there you go.
King of Prussia.
We're perfect. We're typecast. 2 screwballs going to Screwballs.
I'm so glad you said that.
I beat you to the punch there. I saw it. I saw the wheels. I know what's going on.
I know he was about to say it.
I know.
I looked up at the corner box.
To be honest, first of all, props to Next Shift Randy, who just said he's expecting twins. Congrats on that, man. I hope everything goes well.
Bro. Yes,
I hope everything goes well with your lady. Second of all, we were talking about Amazon in the pre-show meeting, and to be honest with you, as we were talking about it in the pre-show meeting, my wife was standing here on the other side of the bedroom. I said, "Hey, how much do we pay for Amazon Prime monthly?" She goes, "Huh?" I said, "Is it like $10?" She goes, "Well, we get it for free because we pay for Amazon Prime delivery, which is $100 a year. So we're not really getting it for free."
Gotcha.
I thought we had to pay a separate fee for the Amazon Prime
I didn't
TV.
know that. I didn't know that stuff was all tied in.
I didn't either until today.
Yeah.
I'm last to know everything in my house, man.
I'm telling you, you're better off sometimes that way. You're better off than being last. But I don't know. Maybe people don't even know that they have it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's very possible.
Next year, you cool with babysitting, bro? Look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to deviate, but Randy, let me tell you something. I've been babysitting grandchildren all spring and all summer. I have a lot of respect for you, but Big Daddy's daycare is closed. Sorry. I'm sorry. I can give you a good babysit. Rob and Barrett do not babysit small children right now. They have openings on their schedule. I got a 14-month-old and a 3-week-old that I have to.
And he won't let me get to him.
Huh?
He won't let me get to him. He's keeping me away from him. He just doesn't know, because I bribe his grandkids. I bribe.
Yes, you do.
Every time I come with gifts.
It is. So he already got the Cruz and Luke. Yes. It is my mission in life to keep Ariana and Elijah away from Barrett Brooks.
Derek, you have
He's
no
not
chance.
Gonna worry. I come giving gifts.
Barrett will he will infiltrate the fortress. Okay.
Yes,
that's all I can tell you.
Yes, I will.
Look, man, my one mission in life
nope.
is to have at least 2 members in my family that don't know who Barrett Brooks is.
I think you better find another mission.
Exactly.
But I am going to be curious what the numbers are for this thing.
Me too.
The traditional, NBC or NFL Network, right? But you know what? People are very adaptable, right? So as much as they may say right now, I don't want any parts of it. You know what, man? When you're sitting there and your buddies are, do you see that play by Mahomes? And you're like, then you'll adapt quick. So we'll see.
Football fans are people who don't like to be told about what happened. They want to see it for themselves.
Yep.
They want to form their own firsthand opinion and not get a secondhand opinion. Number two, we've known since the spring that these games are going to be on Amazon.
Yes.
So the human nature is I'll wait till the last minute to get. I guarantee you there's a percentage of people out there right now scrambling to subscribe to Amazon because they forgot all about it, waited until the last minute. And the older generation, hey, asking the younger, how do I subscribe to Amazon again? You know what I'm saying?
No, you know what it's going to be, Derek? There'll be a press release put out like tomorrow morning. Amazon, subscriber numbers like through the roof. You
went
know
up
that's
33% prior to kickoff.
That's totally going to happen. That is so going to happen. So it'd be interesting. And look, if people want to jump in here in the chat section, the chat room, tell me if you have it. If you're going to be watching it tonight, or you don't have it, or whatever, just jump in there because I'm very curious. Where people stand with this for sure.
Hey, look, T for Tuna said my family like Barrett more than me. Well, Tuna, I don't blame him. After fishing with your cheating behind, I don't blame him one bit.
Shots fired. Oh man,
I miss my captain, man. I was trying to go fishing. I can't even get fishing, man. I mean, it's tough, man. Just like you haven't been fishing,
dude. Man, I've been fishing I've never fished this few amount of times in my life in a summer.
Well, captain either.
You just killed
captain either. He hasn't been able to fish. He's probably been fishing, and he's there at the marina, you know what I'm saying, managing the entire marina. And he said he's probably only been out like 5 or 6 times.
Let me ask you.
He hasn't been out tuna fishing yet.
Okay, so the marina you're at, can you fish from the docks? Can you cast the line from the docks?
It's
or is it too shallow?
It's frowned upon, but they just, man, there's stripers, 3 or 4 foot stripers that hang out at the lights of the boats. The little
right
fish
there
to the lights of the boats.
Right there.
You might find there's 3 or 4 foot stripers just swimming around there eating the fish from around the lights of the boat. You can hear
right at the dock.
You're sleeping in your bed and you can literally hear these fish hitting the side of your boat. That's how big these fish are.
Damn.
Man, let me tell you something. I don't care who frowns upon anything unless there is some written law that tells me that I cannot drop a line from my boat to the dock.
There is no
I'll be fishing and you live right there on the boat during the summer?
Yeah.
Man, I'm dropping a line every night.
In fact, on my dock, we're on C dock. I'm the same as the captain. Right. On C dock, a guy walked down to the end and it was at night, and it was and that's where they fill up the gas tanks and stuff like that. Where you could fill up for gas at. He's just fishing, playing around fishing right there, and caught like a 28-inch flounder.
What?
Right there where the where you fill up your boat. Right there at the end of our dock. In fact, it was a woman. She caught a 28-inch flounder.
Now, as much as I like
28 inches,
that's a big flounder. As much as I like flounder, if I catch any fish around that dock because so many boats are there, I'm sorry, I'm not eating the fish because of all the gas and the oil. When you start the boats up in the water and stuff around them,
all that stuff dissipates. That water it's always changing water. The tide goes in and out every day.
I get that.
Every
too many boats.
6, 7, 8 hours.
Mr. Gunn, you have a growth on your shoulder. What's it from? Catching fish at the dock. I'm like, I ain't doing it. I can't do it.
Eric, when'd you grow a tail?
Exactly. Got a tail wrapped around my head like this.
Oh my God. I hear you. All right, so let's jump around the NFC. Let's do our NFC East watch. So Dak Prescott, we know it was originally thought it'd be 6 to 8 weeks, but Dr. Jerry Jones said it would only be 4 weeks. He was at practice today with a cast on, watching them. You know what? Here's the thing. I was looking at their schedule, and it is not an easy road to hoe here for the boys in Big D. So they have coming up, they're got Cincinnati this week. Cincinnati coming off, a horrible game for them, right?
Yep.
So they have Cincinnati at home. Then they go to the Giants, which is not going to be as easy as I think we all thought, right? Especially with Cooper Rush as your quarterback. Then another NFC East game on the fourth game of the season. They're home against Washington. Go to the Rams, go to the Eagles, and then it's Detroit. So that's basically what they have coming up during that time period when Prescott would be out. I'm telling you, we talked about this a little bit earlier about it. I know you jumped off with Shio Kapati. They weren't playing well even before Prescott went out in that game.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. I watched the game. they weren't playing right. In fact, I mean, the only bright spot I saw was Micah Parsons, and we thought he wasn't gonna get 15 sacks. He just might get it. He had 2 that game.
He gonna get his sacks. I'm telling you.
Right.
He's getting 15 sacks.
He's gonna have a ton.
Dallas about to get beat like an old dirty rug. I'm telling you. Cincinnati is mad. They ticked off. They should not have lost that game to the Steelers. Burrow, 5 turnovers. They ticked off. They lost the season opening divisional game to one of their heated rivals. Man, Dallas about to get beat. It's gonna be like Custer's last stand in this game on Sunday, man.
Let's hope.
Beat them like they stole something, man.
Like they stole something, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if they're that good, period. I really don't.
They're not, man. They're not. You know, and how do you expect to be good when you let everybody go from your team? You let your best receiver go. Well, the second best receiver. I say CeeDee Lamb's the best receiver.
Right.
He was last year. But you let Cooper go. You let Cedric Wilson go. You've let Lyle Collins go. You let Williams go. You're starting, left tackle. He's hurt. He's out. You've got, an old man in there right now.
Yeah.
And Jason Peters. You only give your second team, what's his name? Oh my goodness. Second team running back.
Pollard.
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. You let Tony Pollard get 6 snaps in the game.
Yeah, that's
crazy. You give Ezekiel Elliott right at 10 or 12 snaps a game. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
They scored on that first possession and didn't score again. They got a field goal on the first possession and never scored after that.
Wow.
In that game. How about CeeDee Lamb? 2 catches, 29 yards. That's it.
Yep.
2 catches. And what, Prescott got hurt in the 4th. So it's not like
exactly
you were dealing with Cooper Rush for the whole game. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, Dallas about to get punked on Sunday.
Yeah, so they're at Cincinnati. All right, so Washington. They end up, it was kind of a back and forth game. They beat the Jaguars 28-22. Wentz 27 of 41, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did have those 2 picks. I had a 101 passer rating in the game. Impressive debut by Jahan Dodson. 3 catches, 40 yards, including 2 touchdowns. Gibson really played well. 130 total yards for them. They were up 14-3 at the half. Yeah, he is, man.
That dude scares me, man.
Yeah, he does.
When he's healthy.
An excellent player. He's an excellent player.
My
he really is. He's a game changer for them, maybe more than anybody else. But they were up. They allowed Jacksonville to fight back. Wentz through consecutive picks, and you thought he was just going to, go back into bad Carson mode. But to his credit, he figured out. I like Rivera. Rivera on the sideline said, look, if we're going to win this game, you're going to have to win it for us. You understand that?
That's what you tell your quarterback.
Just lay it on him. Yeah. And Wentz responded. So I think Rivera knows you got to be pretty direct with him and no nonsense with him. And don't let him get away with a lot of crap. I don't think you can give him a lot of rope, or else Carson's going to go into know-it-all Carson mode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't give him the time to make those type of decisions. You got to nip that in the butt from the beginning, or else he'll think he does have that he does have that power to all right, counter what you're saying. He's not the type that you can do that. You got to let him know what's expected of him and how he's supposed to do it, unless he's going to take it and run with it. And he's the smartest guy in the room, And if you're the smartest guy in the room, then that means you're in the wrong room, son.
Yep, that's right.
I think I've heard somebody say that before. Yes,
that's right.
So they end up winning. It's a back and forth, affair there at Washington. So upcoming Washington this week has Detroit. Now, we talked about this yesterday. Detroit's the favorite. It's the first time Detroit's been the favorite in a long time.
25 games.
If I was handicapping, I probably would have made Washington like the 1.5 point favorite, but Vegas went with Detroit. What do you guys think in that game?
Well, I actually think that Detroit is better than Washington.
Ooh,
that's valid. Yeah, I think they are. I watched the game. I skimmed. Well, I skimmed through the Washington game. I just wanted to see what was going on with it. I had and let me tell you this. I went through it. I went through the entire game in a half an hour. So I didn't really break anything down. I didn't look at anything, and I'd already broken down and everything as far as the Eagles game. So I just, skimmed through the game, and I didn't see a lot that Washington has that Detroit is not just as good at.
All right, Mr. Brooks, Mr. Ellis. Based on what Mr. Brooks just said, I have a couple of questions I need to ask you both about this matchup, and I'm eager to hear your answers.
All right.
First of all, who has the better quarterback?
I think. Oh, that's.
I'm starting there. Who has the better quarterback?
That is really hard. That is really hard.
It's like the upside of Wentz is better, but the downside of Wentz is worse.
Yes.
What kind of politically correct answer is that?
And both guys are tied at the hip because it's 1 and 2.
I know. Oh God.
I need a definitive answer. Who has the better quarterback?
I'm going to still go Wentz. I know that sounds crazy.
Mr. Brooks?
Well, I'm going to go Jared Goff because the only reason why, because he's played in the Super Bowl. He
has played the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Let me give you an easier answer. Who has the better running back?
I think that Detroit has the better running back.
Yeah, if Swift's healthy, I'll go Swift. Gibson's a really good all-around back, though.
Okay,
but I'll
give you that.
So Swift, too.
Who has the better
O-line?
Defensive front.
The defensive front.
Defensive front is Washington.
No question about that. No question.
Who has the better offensive line?
Detroit. By leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And to me, after answering those questions exactly the way I thought you guys would, that game's a coin flip. This is a game I would not touch. If I were betting him, I wouldn't touch this game.
No
way.
I agree. That's a stay away. Yep.
I wouldn't touch this game one iota.
I'm with you, man.
And I think that's why they're saying Detroit is gonna is the favorite.
Yeah, because
where's it played at? Is it
at Detroit?
In Detroit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I really feel as though that they're gonna be people in the stands again. They're going to be hype again.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they sold out for the first time in a long time last week.
Yeah.
All right, so Giants. We've discussed this game to an extent, but it was a pretty impressive debut from Dable. They're undermanned. They're all banged up. Their offensive line. I mean, the guy who caught the winning touchdown was a Temple kid who's like an H-back in Myrick. He ends up catching the game-winning touchdown. Jones made the one really bad throw on that. I think Hooker picked it off. He had a bad interception, but other than that, he was pretty decent in that game. And he made a couple throws under duress, which really weren't bad. Obviously, the catalyst of the game was Saquon. I mean, Saquon was spectacular in it. But they had no business being in that game in Tennessee with that lineup and the lack of bodies they had. So it's a kind of a different era now there.
I think the Giants are going to be 2-0 after this game.
Ooh.
I think the Giants are going to be 2-0, and Carolina fans are going to be screaming for Matt Rule to be fired.
It's a home game, by the way. The Giants are home.
Giants. That's what I said. I think the Giants are going to be I think they have so much momentum because they were supposed to be dead to rights in that game in Tennessee, and that win gave them juice. You said it best, Rob.
Yeah.
They didn't look like this when they played for Joe Judge.
Walking Dead under Judge.
Walking Dead. A perfect analogy. Just winning that one game in the manner in which they came back and won it against a rugged front like Tennessee's, I think they're going to be 2-0 after this game.
I don't know what Carolina is. I don't know. I mean, McCaffrey hardly got any touches, and
you know what? It's hard for me to bet against Saquon. The way he ran the rock and
there you go.
Their defense, you know what I'm saying? I mean, is their first round pick back yet?
No.
He's not back yet?
Kayvon Thibodeau?
Yeah, Thibodeau?
No, he's not back yet.
No. Their top two rushers missed first game.
Yes. Yeah. All the more impressive that
Yes.
Yeah. They played great. They did what they had to do. They hung around. Did they get lucky that Bullock missed the field goal? I mean, but you put yourself in a position to succeed and win the game. And
that was still Tennessee. They out physical the Tennessee team.
Yeah, and I think Dable's approach has got to be, we're not supposed to win any games anyway. Yeah. And if it doesn't work out, then we get a better draft pick. So he's going to be that gutsy guy all year, probably.
Yeah.
They're playing on house money. They're playing with house money, man. So
yes, they are.
Yeah.
Dable's told his Giants team, you know what? Nobody expects anything from us. Let's just go out and just do the unthinkable. Let's just play all out and see what happens. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, play loose, and all you want to do is keep gathering confidence.
Yes.
The flip side is Carolina knows They really need to get this game.
Yes,
because
they do.
that's, you already have a coach who's really, on the tightrope to begin with. And there's still a million questions about Mayfield. Like, that could really become disastrous. You get off to a slow start. They have to get this game. That's another tough game, man. I don't think that's an easy game to handicap.
I wouldn't touch it.
So let me give the point spreads for that game. So I mentioned that Detroit's -1.5. Giants are -2 for what it's worth. That's a very tight line. A lot of tight lines. Like Pittsburgh and New England is -2. That's a tight one.
Woo.
Baltimore and the Dolphins -3.5.
That's gonna be a good game.
That's gonna be a good game.
Yes. Yeah. Like, we're gonna dive into all the point spreads tomorrow.
And I get to watch all of them too, man.
Yeah, you get the day
You get
off.
to watch all of them.
Because the Eagles play on Monday.
Yeah, I know, but how do you get to see all these games? Do you have like the Direct TV or something, or do you have Fire Stick or what? What do you got? What do you got going on that we need to know about over there?
I'll get to just flip around. I'm gonna just do it the old-fashioned way. Flip around. T. I got 2 television. Well, actually, I got 3 television, and all 3 of them will be on a game that I want to watch, and I just sit in the middle.
Yeah, but you can only see, unless you watch a Red Zone, you can only see 2 games at a time.
Yeah, that's easy.
Okay, I thought you
got
might have something.
You get the triple TV in the man cave. That's awesome.
Yes.
Rob, as I've said time and time again, rich people problems.
Oh man.
One of the TVs is this big.
38 grills.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What? 38? I only got 33.
Oh, sorry.
Not 38.
Okay, sorry for exaggerating. I want to see the Barrett setup, man.
All right, I'll send pictures. I'll
get us a picture.
He won't invite us over. He won't invite us over.
Look, see, I said you're more than welcome to come by. That's
let
why
me
I said it.
ask you guys, non like Sunday is for you guys, a non-work day, right? Are you typically red zone? Are you honed in on a game? Then you go to the red zone. What's your viewing pleasure? How do you guys go about it?
I'm honed in on one game.
Okay.
And I keep the red zone in the back. You know what I'm saying? I honed in on one game. I have one game going, but I'm honed in on red zone, just listening, just different stuff, in the background.
Okay. How about you, Derek?
I do not watch red zone. Red zone angers me to death because just when you get in a sequence of plays, they flip to another one, and then they flip to another. I love Scott Hansen. Scott Hansen is my boy. I love what he does. He is perfect to host the red zone for as many hours as he does. I can't watch the red zone. Now, when it's an off day for the Eagles and there's going to be 2 games on at 1 o'clock and 2 more games on at 4:25, I just go back and forth between those 2 games. Red zone does not exist on my TVs. Can't do it.
Okay.
And I do red zone.
Red zone anger from Derek.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I am. If the game's entertaining, I'm on the one game, and then I'm going to red zone. If the game stinks, then I'm going to red. Like we sometimes get stuck where we live with.
Right.
Somebody feels like we need to have the Jets game. I don't need to see the Jets under any circumstance.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
If one of those games is a dud, you're right, Rob. I'm focusing on one
out.
game. You're right.
Yeah, I'm out. For years, they would what's the game? The Eagles are on. Oh, it's the Jets and the Browns.
Yeah,
like, great.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, I don't need that mess.
Yeah. I never understood. To me, like, if I'm a local affiliate, I know you're trying to grab some viewers from like Central Jersey and all that, but get the best game on if it's CBS or
exactly,
whatever. Get the best game. That's
nobody wants to see Jacksonville. Nobody wants to see the Jets.
Nobody wants to see them. Houston. No.
None of the above. Yeah, none of the above.
Bears.
Right. No, exactly. So we'll go through, like I said, we'll kind of run through some of the bigger games and point spreads tomorrow. Get you ready for the games on the weekend. That's for sure. All right, so we come back. Major retirement announcement in sports. NBA players, none too happy. Some NFL stuff regarding Lamar Jackson, regarding Aaron Rodgers, beer prices.
Yeah.
In various stadiums around the NFL. This one is, Gunnar, you sent this our way today.
Yeah.
Woo!
No.
So we will do that. We got some good birthdays, got some movies all in store when we return. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's the #1 news at 10 p.m. Action News on PHL 17. Join Shari Williams, Gray Hall, Deuces Rogers, and meteorologist Adam Joseph for all the big stories at a time that's right for you. Action News at 10 p.m. on PHL 17.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Up and go Birds.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Thursday, final segment of the show. All right, guys, Roger Federer retiring. This is on the heels of Serena Williams hanging it up. Roger Federer, 20 Grand Slams, I think it is, 20 majors won. He is retiring. Certainly one of the greatest that's ever done it. Some would argue the greatest, but he is he's going to be finishing things up and calling it a career, and did it in a really understated way, which is kind of like him. That's sort of his personality.
I didn't know he was 41, to be honest.
Yeah,
I thought he was still in his 30s. But what an incredible run he's had, man. You know, now the question is, you know, Serena's going to bow out, Roger's bow out. Who's the next great one coming?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, it really is. He's won 20 Grand Slams, by the way. He's had a lot of knee operations. The knee has really gone. Yeah. Finished 5 seasons ranked #1 in what they call the golden era with him and Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. You know, those three, that threesome right there, been pretty amazing. So yeah, that's a good question, Derek. And Nadal put a pretty cool tweet out. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he said, "Dear Roger, my friend and rival, I wish this day would never come. It's a sad day for me personally and for sports around the world. It's been a pleasure, but also an honor and privilege to share all these years with you, living so many amazing moments on and off the court." Very cool. Very cool.
That's awesome.
You know? Yeah. That's a good way to go.
Wow.
Classic.
Yeah. But hey, look, it's we're gonna be dealing with another. I think Brady hangs it up at the end of the year, and you could make an argument. You know, the GOAT female tennis player, maybe the GOAT male tennis player, and the GOAT football player all hanging up within 6 months of each other.
Yeah.
Announcing my retirement at the conclusion of this football season.
The GOAT broadcaster, fisherman.
No, I'm called the GOAT for wrong reasons. They're not in the true sense of the word GOAT.
There's no greatest of all time. No. I know. I'm called a different animal, and it's
what?
starts with an A and ends
the
with
mule?
an SS.
What?
Yeah.
The mule? Is that it?
Yeah. That's what I'm usually called.
Thanks,
around
Robert.
here. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, Roger Federer retiring. Lamar Jackson says basically, like, don't try and sneak a question in about the contract, guys. I ain't having it. I told you guys it's done. And he did it really politely, by the way.
He said respectfully.
Politely. Excuse me. Politely. Yeah.
But we knew this was going to happen. What a player tells you, I don't want to talk about. You know what? Somebody's going to ask the question to try to egg them on.
Yes.
To get a response out of them. You know what?
Absolutely. Yeah.
From now on, see, when I put it in that regard, from now on, when somebody asks me, next question, is that all you guys want to talk about? Have a good day. Exit stage left. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
You told them.
Unfortunately, and I think Lamar's handled it. Yeah, try to handle it as well as he can. It's never going away.
Right.
It's just not. You know what I mean? He's going to be asked about it. His teammates are like, I'm sure Harbaugh at some point is going to get really frustrated with it. And Harbaugh wishes this was not the case. He didn't want this.
No,
right.
So
it's distraction.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going away. That's for sure. I thought Aaron Rodgers was interesting this week. I think he realizes he can't just kill these young kids at receiver. Like, he's got to try to take the approach of patience here with them.
You know what? Every time something like this happens in Green Bay, you go back to when he said, relax.
Yeah.
And they went on this run. Last year, they get blown out by New Orleans. Yeah, it's just the first game. They go on a run. And it's the same way. But I guarantee you, he's seething like a caged leopard right now. Somebody better start catching the ball. Or what did he say in training camp? You don't catch the ball, you're not getting on the field. First game, Christian Watson, right a point, drops the ball.
Yeah.
Romeo
and that sort of set the tone for the rest of the game.
It did.
Too. Yeah.
So these kids better get on page. If you want to make your money, you want to get recognized, you better do what you're drafted to do, or else A-Rod's not throwing you the ball. He'll throw it out of bounds before he throws it to you.
Wasn't it a weird offseason? Like, you made it a point to get his contract done so you weren't going through the same crap that you went through with him. And then you trade away to Devontae Adams. Like, it seemed to not jive for me.
Well, they traded away Devontae, and Devontae said it. He just wanted the opportunity to go back and play with his college teammate, Derek Carr. Of course, then again, would you rather live in Green Bay or Vegas? I mean, I think it's easy.
And he grew up in the Bay Area as a Raiders fan.
Yes. Yeah. So the chance to play for the Raiders, a brand new spanking new stadium in Las Vegas, where it's warm all year round compared to minus 45,000 degrees in January in Green Bay, I think it's an easy decision. Plus, Green Bay it offered him the same money. He still wanted to go play. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, he's closer to the left coast, so that's what it is.
Yes. I don't blame him.
I wonder too, like, we never heard any reports that he and Rodgers didn't get along. I'm not saying this, but did he just get tired of all the, like, sort of just drama that follows Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know. On the surface, they were boys. They were tight.
Yeah, no, I don't think they had beef. I don't think they had a beef. I'm not saying that. I don't know if he was just like, you know what, I need to change the scenery, man.
I think it was more of and I don't disagree with you, but I think it's more of the lifestyle. Let's see. I'm offered $141 million by two different organizations. One, I may never have to buy a winter jacket again, and it is in one of the playground capitals of not just the United States but the world. One of the playground capitals of the world, in a brand spanking new stadium. I've served my time here in one of the most traditional venues in all of pro football.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, I think you're going to Vegas.
I'm going.
Unless you felt like the teams weren't comparable. Unless you felt like Vegas stunk, which obviously they don't.
I mean, you guys could look at this. How long do you think A-Rod's going to play?
True.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Also,
Carr's got to have 5 more years in him than Aaron, you would think. Even Carr's probably 30-ish, something like that range.
And you get to go from a future Hall of Fame quarterback to a very good quarterback. It's not like you went from Green Bay to Houston or Chicago or,
Exactly.
Let me find a way to get back to San Diego. I've been on document telling you this 85 times. If I ever find a way to get back to San Diego,
That's why I'm not investing in that fund.
Why
Yeah, the gun fund.
you claim that you're a good friend. You and Rob both claim that you're good friends. I have pleaded with you. I have begged you to help donate to the Help D-Gun Get Back to California Foundation. And both of you have refused to help me out.
I know.
That just goes to show you how not good of friends you really are.
I hear that, man. I know. You can't take us anywhere. So, all right, let's dive into this one. So, beer prices. JP Finlay, who writes and reports for NBC Sports, they're not called Mid-Atlantic anymore, right? It's called Washington. Is that? I don't even know.
I don't even know anymore.
Washington. Yeah. Okay, so he's been down there for a while. He's covered the Redskins or formerly the Redskins for a long time. Now the Commanders. So he tweeted this out, Derek, and you were all over it, man. I thought it was great. It was the highest beer prices in various stadiums. I'll tell you what.
Get that on the screen. Can we get that up? Is that possible?
Xander, can you grab the tweet that Derek sent all of us a little bit earlier today? I'll try to see exactly what time.
I sent it this morning. Is there any way we can get there? Because I looked at these prices and I said, who in their right mind would buy a beer? When you think about what you pay for parking, a ticket, who in their right mind would buy a beer in a stadium for those prices?
I can answer that. Yeah, I'll answer it for you, Derek. So if number one, there's the list. So the Eagles
we zoom in on that a little bit?
Yeah, no. The Eagles are the highest at $14.67. I mean, that is
come on, man.
That is crazy. LA, which the cost of living is through the roof. Oh, we lost it. Okay, I think he's adjusting.
Okay,
is over $13. Well, here's the answer. You're at their mercy. You're watching the game. You don't have any other alternative. It's not like you can just go to your fridge and get it. A lot of those folks have already been going for a while in the parking lot, and they don't want to stop. Okay, right? I mean, frankly,
come on,
so that's
man.
a big part of it. Yeah,
dude, Barrett, you would pay $14 for a beer. Look at this.
Yeah,
$14.67 for a beer.
You know why I would?
A cup of beer.
This is why I would. This is why I would.
Why?
I don't have to pay for tickets.
No. I understand. No. Okay, when you said it, yes. Okay, I'm talking about the average person who pays a ticket.
No.
Of parking.
That's a whole case of Schlitz malt liquor right there.
Hey, that's some Pabst Blue Ribbon right there, boy.
That would have, that one beer.
Look at this.
Would have gotten us like 3 cases back in the day.
Right.
Rob, would you pay this? Would you pay this, Rob? Would you pay this?
No, probably not.
You paying?
Have I done it before?
I've done it. I have done it as a younger man. I
actually went to a Sixers game and paid that.
Yes.
Are you serious?
But Derek, here's the thing, man. Comparatively, yes, the beer is a crazy high price. But like, if you get crab fries or you get something else at like a Sixers game or something, you're paying insane money. It's all nuts.
Dude, you're paying like $8 for a plastic cup more so than beer. $6 for the actual liquid in the cup.
Yeah, and it's not like some cup that's you're going to take it home. It's got the Eagles.
Yeah, it's literally a plastic. That's
all it is. It's a see-through plastic cup,
and it's just a little bit bigger than Rob's red cups. It's just a little bit bigger.
Yes.
Yeah, not much.
Blue cup.
$14 for a beer.
Longer and skinnier.
Did you see what Brian H just put up here? Gunner, a beer and hot dog at Wrigley Field, $34. No way.
Stop it.
No way.
Are you kidding me?
Here's where I'll tell you where it gets nuts. So if you ever, like, my buddy early in the year, he took a bunch of us to a Phillies game. My buddy had a couple extra tickets, invited me and a couple of other friends. So we went to the game. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to do right by this guy because I got tickets for free. I'm going to get a round of beers for all the boys, right? Dude, you come back and you look at your bill and you pay like $70-something, $80-something just a round of beers for your guys. And you're like, oh my God.
Come on, man.
I swear.
You like, hey, oh.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a way to get around that.
Get him back, bro. Get him back, y'all.
Yeah.
Get him back, y'all.
There's a way to get around that. There's a good way to get around that. See, what you do is this. You get you some of those freezer Ziploc bags and you pour the beer in those, right? And you zip them up, you put them in your pants pocket. Now it's not a metal detect, so it won't get detected by metal when you go in the stadium. Then you get one of those long funnel straws, and then you pull it out and leave it in your pocket while you're in the game.
It just got me thinking of something, and I don't want to show it. Did you see the video of that woman throwing up at the Bengals?
Yes. Come on, man.
No, I didn't see it.
Dude,
it's so I don't want to say it's so gross. I'm not gonna.
Now I want to see it, man.
How many times did she throw up? Like 3 or 4?
3 or 4, and she's just sitting there in her seat. She's throwing.
Yeah.
It's all liquid. You could tell she was
yeah.
drinking it. She's throwing up. There's a dude, there's a guy, he has to be feeling. A guy in front of her's in a neck brace, and he can't even really turn around. But this poor bastard is sitting there. No, it's
a guy.
No, we ain't showing. We're not showing that dude. Yeah. Don't do it, Rob. Don't do it. We're family. We're family show, Rob. Don't do it.
Xander, show it. I gotta see it now because he said. First of all, he said there's a guy that got a neck brace. She's like, I gotta see this now. Come on.
So here's the part that blew me away. There's a person sitting in front of her, Barrett, has no idea this woman's like Niagara Falls right behind him.
It's gross.
And it's running down her shirt, down her seat.
And she just sits there. She just does it, sits there. She's not trying to get to the bathroom, not trying to get out of there. She's just yakking. It's pretty gross, dude.
Can you imagine the dude in front of her goes, "Hey, why's my bag wet? My bag under my seat wet."
Oh. Yeah, I gotta see it, man.
Come
on, Zan.
Oh, yeah. No, don't do it, Xander.
Do it on your own time, Barrett.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not pleasant.
Don't do it,
Xander. You don't do it.
Editorial decision. It's not great. Anyway, those but Derek, those prices, man, that is crazy town. I mean, unbelievable. And the parking, it's tough. That you wonder. We talked about this with the Phillies games. People just can't afford it now. You're trying to save enough money to buy food or get gas.
Dude, so you got a family of 4. It's a $200 day at least.
Easily. That's a low estimate.
On concessions, $200 a day.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not doing it, man. Can't do it.
Yep.
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it. All right. NBA players are none too happy that Robert Sarver, the owner of the Suns, is not permanently forced to sell the team, a la Donald Sterling. Chris Paul, who is a Suns player, came out and said it's the wrong decision. LeBron came out. Others have as well. I saw an executive in the NBA front office. Their people are pissed, man. What's up, Barrett?
What is wrong with Bear? What's wrong with you, Bear?
What? Oh my God! Here we
What's
go.
wrong, B. Brooks?
Y'all told me not to, man. Y'all told me.
Oh, you looked at it.
He had to go look at it.
Y'all told me not
alone.
to, man. Y'all told me not to, man.
It's just,
She's in there. Then she gonna look around like,
what's going on? And then she acts again.
Nothing going on here.
Yeah,
nothing going on here. And the ladies in front of her like this.
Yeah, and everybody around her's like, "Really? Are you doing that?"
Well, who is the nut that? I mean, you just gonna tape that? I know she is pissed. Like, why are you recording me? She's trying to play it off like this.
I told you don't do it.
Probably somebody's mother or aunt or God knows what. Ugh. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Gross. Yeah, just gross.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. No, I was just saying, the end. I don't blame them. NBA players are not happy that this guy's still.
Well, I mean, so wait a minute. Chris Paul, whose owner writes his checks, said he should have been.
Yes, he did.
Jefferson.
Yesterday. Yes.
Wow.
Tweeted it out. Yep. I'll pull up the tweet while we're talking about it.
Are you kidding me? He said that.
Well, Chris Paul did.
He's got some cojones.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Make some stones. I'll find.
Of course, Chris Paul knows if Phoenix is right. He got 10 other teams that'll grab him in a minute. So
yeah.
Oh, but yeah, and he's so established, like in his career that he can definitely do that kind of thing.
And he knows if they cut him for that, he'll get paid.
They're not going to mess with him with that.
Yeah.
They're not.
See, Barrett, now you got all these people looking for this video, man, because you can leave it alone.
All right, you want to hear what Chris Paul had to say?
What did he say?
We'll try and move on. He says, like many others, I reviewed the report. I was and am horrified and disappointed by what I read. This conduct, especially towards women, is unacceptable and must never be repeated. I'm of the view that the sanctions fell short in truly addressing what we can all agree was atrocious behavior. My heart goes out to all the people that were affected, et cetera. So
that's well stated. I like that.
I agree.
Very well stated.
LeBron went after him too. It's Adam Silver. He didn't really basically. Silver's explanation was kind of weak, where he's sort of just trying to. say the patterns weren't the same with this guy and with Sterling. Basically, it was the gist of it in his press release. So that's what he ended up saying. So, all right, birthdays. So, I wanted to pass this one on, Derek. This was a good one too. The Guardian cap. I know you wanted to talk about with the concussions.
Yeah. Saw the study that said concussions among players who used the Guardian caps all summer, from training camp through the second preseason game. It was mandatory. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, tight ends, and linebackers. Concussions went down 50% from using the Guardian cap. So obviously they served a purpose in terms of reducing head trauma injuries, and
kudos.
So that's a good thing.
Yes, great.
Yeah. And there's one other one I just wanted to bring up real quick. The DJ Reed story for the Jets.
Go ahead, Derek.
Are you familiar with that one?
No.
Right before kickoff, he learns that his father had died. And he goes out in the game against Baltimore, and he makes this unbelievable acrobatic interception, grabs the ball and runs to midfield and gets on his knees and throws his hands up. Now, a lot of people came down on him initially, saying that he was showboating. He shouldn't disrespect the logo, even though it was a home game for the Jets. And then he revealed why after the game. But, that's tough. The fact that he went out and played that game, his dad had gone through a long illness. I believe it was with multiple sclerosis or something like that. And he learns right before kickoff. They basically knew the dad was going to die, but he learns right before kickoff his father dies. He still goes out there and plays the game. So condolences to him and his family. But, there's a lesson of, hey, wait, know the whole story before you make a judgment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was interesting that I think his mom, the mom knew before the game started and didn't want to tell him. She wanted him to get through the game, and then she was going to tell him.
Yeah.
So as she's watching the game, when she saw him do that gesture, she knew that he knew that his dad had passed away. Like somebody had told him. So that's you're playing with a heavy heart, man. That takes some guts.
Brett Favre did that.
Favre did it. Yeah, his father passed away on a
went out and had one of the best games of his career against the Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good. That was it's amazing stuff.
Even though he's the
Favre thing just gets uglier as these texts are revealed that he knew what he was doing. And it was basically he and the local government in Mississippi, conspiring to steal money from people essentially and build a volleyball court at Southern Miss because Favre's daughter played volleyball. Like, come on, man. Just gross. I mean, honestly, just vile, vile kind of stuff. And there should be charges brought up against them. Yep. There should. It shouldn't just be pay the fine back or pay the money back. There should be there should be charges.
But he's going to get away with it because he's Brett Favre, and he is the favorite son of the state of Mississippi. Yep. He's going to get away with a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Now, I think as we talked about this yesterday, I think he paid back like $1.25 million already. Now they're going after him for what? Interest and everything else, and the rest of them. Yeah. So he'll pay the money. Because he's still doing commercials. He's still getting money.
Yeah. I think that'll be shut down now. I think people will be done with him at this point.
Yeah. There's no.
I think he's done. I think he's persona non grata now.
Yeah,
I do.
No more him and what's his name? The receiver making those commercials.
Oh God, Jerry Rice.
Which are the worst commercials in the world?
Yeah. They're rolling up on a pickup game with like me, a bunch of guys like me out there. I would hope that they're schooling them. Yeah, like
he looks so. Jerry Rice looks so old while he's doing it too.
Yeah, they both do, and they're in like their copper fit, and it's like I would hope even at like 60, Jerry Rice should tune up a guy like me. Out there in the pickup game. Like hopefully.
Would you deem up, Rob?
No, I'm getting whoever else is on the other side. I would have been like Asante Samuel. I only play this side. And it's whatever side Jerry's not on, man. Oh, you didn't hear, Bill? I only play this side. You got Jerry. You got that guy over there. Have fun.
My goodness.
Yeah. All right. So birthdays. Good birthdays today.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
76 years old. Tommy, a great actor.
One of my all-time favorite movies, The Fugitive.
Oh, he's so good in that. He's good in everything though.
He is.
He's been around, obviously.
He could play the same role and still, man, be amazing at it, man.
You're right. Yeah. He was in No Country for Old Men. He was very good at that too.
Yes. Yep.
He played football at Harvard. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was a football player. He was a hell of an athlete. But yeah, he played football at Harvard. He was a member of the undefeated 1968 football team. He was first team All Ivy League.
Oh my goodness. Had no idea.
Pretty decent player.
What position?
He was an O lineman, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, he was, he was classmates with Al Gore. They were classmates, but yeah, he was, I think he was an offensive lineman. I have to check it, but yeah, he definitely, he was on that. There was a famous, they beat Yale 29-20, or they tied Yale or something in 1968. It was a big deal. Anyway, so he is 76. Prince Harry, a lot being made lately of the royal family with the death of the Queen. He is 38 years old. And by the way, no offense, if I have to see any more about the Queen's death, I might take myself out. I mean, enough already.
Come on, Rob.
No, I'm sorry, man.
Come on, Rob.
I'm sorry. I don't care. I mean, I don't want anybody to die. And I'm sorry. Enough. Every newscast we have to lead with this. I'm in America, man. I'm not in London. I'm not in Britain. All right. Anyway. I'm sorry she passed away. All right. Yeah.
See, if I said something like that, you two would have been saying, you're so insensitive.
No, it's
right.
It's enough already. It's just overkill. I mean, sorry. All right. Where are we? All right. So Tom Hardy, the actor, is 45 years old. He's a good actor, that dude.
Yeah, dude, you know what? He's one of those actors where when you hear the name, it's like, what did he play in? And then you look at this movie. Oh, he was in this?
Yeah.
Like Black Hawk Down, the Remnant. What is it called?
He's
The Remnant?
really versatile, man. He's good.
Yeah,
really
Dunkirk, Band of Brothers.
Isn't his brother like played Batman or something? He played in Batman.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, he was in The Dark Knight.
The brother was.
No, Tom Hardy was in
Tom
The Dark
Hardy
Knight.
was. Okay.
Yeah. Was he?
Yeah, he's in he's in a lot of stuff, man. That guy. He really is. He's good. He's really good.
He was in the dude with he's that Spider-Man movie with he's the growth that comes out of him.
The Growth.
I know the guy. Yeah, that was like the second or third one.
Yeah.
With Tobey Maguire. Venom.
Venom too. Yeah, Venom too. Yeah, Venom. He's great in Venom too.
I'm getting killed for my Queen thing. All right, I'm not. Listen, I'm sorry. The old lady passed away. All right, I'm sorry. My apologies.
You just don't know when to stop, dude.
I know. I need to stop. Oh my God.
That's my dude, Rob. You are my dude, man.
All right.
That's overkill.
It is. All right.
I'm in America. Damn it.
Oh God.
Oh, Rob, we love you.
Going to hell. I know, everybody. Right to hell. I know. Yeah, I'll meet you there.
That's the way to end the show, man.
Oliver Stone 76, and who cares?
Marco.
Any given Sunday, baby. Any given Sunday.
Dan Marino 61.
All
right, we got to go. We got to go.
Stone.
Yeah.
What about Agatha Christie?
Agatha Christie. That's a good one.
I read a lot of novels, and she's considered the world's best-selling author of all time. I never read one Agatha Christie book.
I didn't either. But I know the name. I know the name for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Rob, can I ask you one question before we go?
Yes.
Will you be watching more of the Queen's stuff coming up tonight?
No. Okay.
He said, I know the old lady died.
Oh,
my God. Wrong, man. Pete Carroll's birthday.
Yeah, Pete. Happy birthday, Pete. Yes. All right, we got to go. All right, we're back tomorrow. Thanks to Xander. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Remember to stream, everybody listening. Stay tuned. Dan Cilio with the National Football Show.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner.